Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What if Naruto battled at Valley alongside Hinata. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. The fight at the Valley of the End is over and Naruto has won the battle, but the war is far from over as Kakashi arrives on the scene and kills Naruto. Or so he thinks. Kyuubi has other plans and won't let his vessel die. Instead, Kyuubi sees the potential in Naruto and decides to take the boy under his wing to make him a warrior of legend. The fight was over and the two warriors lay on the ground covered in blood and dirt in the depth of the Valley of the End. Uzumaki Naruto was face down on one side while his opponent Uchiha Sasuke was down on the other. Both combatants were out of chakra and had almost no strength to blink, much less move. Almost no strength. Naruto got up slowly from the ground and looked up at Sasuke with blurry vision, finding the pain from the Chidori to his chest so great he nearly blacked out after the third blink. As the blonde-haired boy walked towards his friend, who had some blood on his lip, cuts, bruises, and a scar on his diagonal cheek as long as the boy's right index finger. A little banged up, but nothing life-threatening, thought Naruto, holding his hole-covered chest as he got closer to his former teammate. It even hurt to produce a small smile. Not far watching the two boys, headache, Kakashi scowled at his supposed dead last of a student and demon container of the monster that killed his sensei. Look at him all smug, thinking he can just do that to an Uchiha prodigy. Not only that, but Konoha's Uchiha prodigy no less. The stupid demon thinks he is so great for beating Sasuke. I don't know why Jiraiya taught him that a class technique and not Sasuke. If anything, Sasuke would be the one to perfect its using his given affinities if given the chance. I'll ask the council to petition the Sannin to teach it to Sasuke, thought Kakashi, observing his two students only to see Naruto pick Sasuke up and onto the good side of his back with his one good arm. Kakashi's eyes widened as he saw the hole in Naruto's chest had slowly stopped bleeding and the hole was now generating skin cells. Come on team, let's head back to Konoha so we can get patched up and I can fulfill my promise to Sakura-chan, said Naruto, trying his best to keep himself steady along with the Uchiha on his back. Well, what do you know, the kid actually beat Sasuke. Just like he did with Sabaku no Gaara during the invasion, said Pakken, clearly impressed next to his sign contractor. Kakashi, however, narrowed his eye at Naruto for taking what he felt belonged to Sasuke, since he had believed it was Sasuke who defeated Gaara, not the Kyuubi vessel. He has to be killed. He's become too powerful as it is. If he were to unleash his true power, the demon fox would undoubtedly come back to Konoha to kill us all. We wouldn't be able to hold off another demon incursion from Kyuubi like we did with Arashi, sealing it away into that human form, thought Kakashi before making his decision, and went through the necessary hand signs, gaining his canine companion's interest. Whoa, Kakashi, what are you doing? Why are you doing hand signs for a? Said a now surprised Pakken, only for Kakashi to mentally end the summons and make the dog soon go poof. Man Sasuke, when we get home and healed, we're going to get that seal off you from that snake team, and then I'm taking you to get some ramen to celebrate, said Naruto, looking over at a head slumped down and unconscious Uchiha Sasuke. He barely saw Kakashi come at him with a Chidori when he turned to face forward when the sound of 1,000 birds chirping entered his eardrums. Chidori, yelled Kakashi, plunging his lightning-covered fist into Naruto's good side with the impact freeing Sasuke from his grasp, sending the Uchiha flying several feet back onto rock-hard ground. Kakashi sensei. WY, said Naruto after Kakashi pulled his bloodied hand out, wondering why his Jounin teacher had attacked just after all that had happened with him and Sasuke. Why not? Listen to me, Naru. I know I'm not going to continue this charade with you anymore, Kyuubi. I'm tired of you keeping Sasuke down. You are the reason Sasuke does not get the recognition he deserves. You are the reason Sasuke sees himself so inferior to his older brother and can't reach the next level of Sharingan. When I kill you and Sasuke wakes up, I'll simply tell him I saw him kill you, thus giving Sasuke the ultimate form of his Sharingan, said Kakashi, looking at Sasuke's unconscious form before scowling back down at Naruto. Why you would kill me just F for S, Sasuke. W, what about W, what you said at the M Memorial S stone, said Naruto, the life slowly fading from his eyes as he tried to hang on. What I said doesn't apply to you since you are a demon. Demons do not get the honor of being on that memorial stone, and the only thing you are going to get is a party in honor of your death when I report back to Tsunade-sama of your untimely death at the hands of a cursed seal-influenced Uchiha Sasuke. Naturally, I will be the necessary witness to the end of your concluded fight and how before Sasuke passed out he came to his senses and in front of me in your name pledged his allegiance to Konoha once more, said Kakashi with a small sadistic grin on his face, though it couldn't be seen by the mask on his face. You T-team loving B bastard. I hope W, when you D-die you G go straight T to hell. W, and why you do, I'll BBW waiting for you along with KQ by the T tier YU, S Sasuke, and every other piece of shit T that F follows you, a new asshole the S size of this V Valley, said Naruto, spitting some blood on Kakashi's sandals, making the white-haired Jounin scowl even more at the boy. In response to Naruto's spitting blood, Kakashi hit Naruto hard with a power kick to the ribs, breaking several of them as the boy crashed into a rocky wall, breaking his back in the process. Earth-style, rock slide jutsu, said Kakashi, moving to the wall and put his hand on the final sign and put his hand on the rocky side of the valley no less than 15 feet away from Naruto fallen form. The rock along the wall of the valley shook and collapsed, falling towards Naruto in the form of soft earth and hard rock. If later looked upon, it would seem like it had simply been made from the two boys as fighting each other with their own respectable skills and abilities. What Sune didn't know wouldn't hurt her in Kakashi's mind. This can't be happening. What about my promise to Sakura-chan? I can't die. I need to fulfill my dream in being Hokage and surpass all others. And in order to do that I need to live. I need to get stronger. I must get stronger, thought Naruto, trying to move only for the last of the rock slide to cover him in rock and dirt. What Naruto didn't know was that someone had heard his mental cries. With his task done, Kakashi walked away from the falling earth, not caring to look back as he picked up Sasuke and headed for Konoha to bring back the news that everyone was no doubt waiting to hear. It was around that time that it started to rain. Almost everyone, but I think they will get over it and quickly move on. After all, when the council revokes the third's law, when they hear that Kyuubi is dead, they'll forget about the demon easily, thought Kakashi, nodding mentally to himself at the logic of his thoughts as he headed home. As Naruto's vision, stained with his own blood, fell to the darkness created by the rock and earth that was upon him, the Kyuubi in him stirred within his cage. During the battle, the demon fox had been watching the two boys fight, and though the fox didn't like to admit it, the boy had a great deal of promise in him that he had thought was not there at all. Not many kids with an unruly demon inside of them could, with any training and any help from practically everyone, could have fought and won against another person like the Uchiha. A person who was the same age as Naruto, with a powerful bloodline and the exact opposite form of life than the other in terms of being raised, taught, the whole 9 yards. As the fox now stared at the form of Naruto within the boy's mind as he lay in the water, bloody, unconscious, and slowly dying, the demon fox made a decision that would in his mind change the very course of things in the future. Time to wake up, Kit. We have to talk before it's too late and you decide to punch out of the job known as staying alive, said Kyuubi, sending what chakra he could to the boy without quickening his death. Slowly, as Naruto had awakened from his fight with Sasuke, so had he with Kyuubi, only this time the fox found that unlike before there was no life in these eyes. They were without life, and had the boy not stopped to blink, Kyuubi would have thought the boy was dead. What do you want? Come to awaken me only to eat me before we die. Go ahead, I'm already dead, said Naruto, barely hearable to the Kyuubi despite the superior hearing. I'm not here to eat you, Kit. I've come to help you in your greatest time of need, when all others wouldn't even lift their flesh-ratted hands to point and call for help, said Kyuubi, gaining the boy's attention if only slightly. Why, I'm weak. I may have beaten Sasuke, but I used your power to do it. Even with the curse seal that Sasuke had, it was cheating. If I were really strong, I could have taken Sasuke without your help and would have been able to dodge Kakashi's Chidori, said Naruto, frowning as he stared at the ground and the water before turning into a snarl and letting out a scream of frustration that had been kept in him for years. You have every right to hate that bastard of a teacher for betraying you for that runt of an Uchiha. Personally, the older of the two Uchiha brothers, Itachi I think it was, did me a favor in killing off most of the clan. After all, that was my purpose in heading to Konoha in the first place, said Kyuubi, getting Naruto's attention even more, and had the boy not blinked after a moment the fox would have thought that Naruto had died. You came to Konoha to kill the Uchiha clan. Why, said Naruto, looking at the demon fox, which at the moment seemed to be concentrating on something. Now is not the time to discuss these things when you are so close to death, Kit, said Kyuubi, hoping the boy would leave it at that. He didn't. Hell no. You tell me right here, right now, or I'm not going to try and stay alive, thus killing you in the process when I die, said Naruto, as he had the direct source of his suffering now telling why he attacked Konoha when he did. Kyuubi, seeing no way to counter the boy, sighed and begun to tell his vessel everything. Very well. As you know, with every clan a bloodline that when created, comes from a single source. A single person having multiple mates branching out the bloodline like a tree that will eventually have more branches. However, the Uchiha clan did not simply have a member simply born with the Sharingan like everyone thinks they did. The first user and founder of the clan that was Uchiha Madara was not always an Uchiha. He was once a member of the Hyuga clan from the branch family, as the degrading role as a servant for the main branch of the Hyuga family tree, even though his skills in the arts of Gentle Fist were better than some of the main house members. However, it was also because of his fighting abilities being so good that they used the cage bird seal on him constantly as a constant reminder of his place in the clan. Even when he was doing his task, the clan elders would use it on him just for kicks to see such a skilled servant bow to their whim. One day the man snapped and ran away from the clan, only to run into the cave housing my sleeping form. The fool even tried to attack me in the hopes he could prove himself later on to others who would want his skills as a fighter to others, said Kyuubi, smirking at remembering the results of that little one-sided fight that left the man near death. I take it that you being a me meant that the guy got his ass handed to him, said Naruto, walking towards the fox and to the border in which the fox could reach him beyond the massive cage. Of course, I would have killed the man had I not felt a sliver of pity when I saw his eyes and knew the man wanted to prove himself to others and to rub it into the holier-than-thou Hyuga clan. I knew from his caged bird seal what part of the clan he belonged to, and with an act of mercy for reasons I still don't understand, I broke the caged bird seal with a stream of my chakra that I sent into him, and to see that the Hyugas couldn't kill him, I mutated his eyes into what are now the Sharingan, said Kyuubi, remembering how the man was in awe at his newfound power. Man, those elders must have been super pissed, said Naruto, smiling slightly, wishing he could have seen the looks on those old fools. Correct, and they had every intention of killing him, but your Hokage simply told them that since his bloodline was now entirely different, Mandar could build his own. That is the single main reason why the Uchihas and Hyugas always seem to try and outdo the other. It's a contest of the old Hyuga blood versus the new mutated Uchiha version, said Kyuubi, seeing Naruto nod his head in understanding. Okay, I understand now about the whole rivalry between bloodlines, but what about me and you going on a rampage? Ah yes, as time went by I kept my eyes on the Uchiha clan just in case this went bad on me, and Kami starts pointing the finger at me. Damn all-knowing piece of ... that's beside the point. The point is, after a while I saw that the man I gave the Sharingan eyes to was a more evil individual than even me. He had passed on the evil on to all of his descendants, though over the years had watered it down, though they all inherited the arrogance that one gets from having a powerful bloodline. I felt I had to go to Konoha and remove the bloodline from their eyes whether they liked it or not. When I headed to them, the head of the clan at the time appeared and hit me with a powerful Jinjutsu enhanced several times by his Sharingan eyes. It threw me into the rampage to Konoha that I am famous, or rather, infamous for, said Kyuubi, knowing Naruto could piece the rest of this together since the rest, as was always said, ... was history. Naruto nodded his head, also understanding that the Uchihas didn't want to lose their precious bloodline, so the head of the Uchiha clan interfered with Kyuubi's original intentions. You said you wanted to help me, but how can you help me now when I'm so close to death? Why should I even try to live when practically everyone in Konoha wants me dead because of you, said Naruto, his anger coming back to him full force at those idiots who mistreated him. I want to help you live again, Kit. For too long have I been a curse to you rather than a blessing that I should have been had the village council not been arrogant, said the Kyuubi, having been awake just long enough to overhear their arguing over his vessel the fateful night before sleep took him. We should kill the creature, said a council member with pink hair while getting cheers from the side that supported it, while the other side yelled at them, with poor Sarutobi in the middle of it all holding the infant in his arms, not trusting the sleeping baby yet with anyone until he knew who to trust. Unfortunately, there were too few supporters who wanted to honor Arashi's dying wish. Now Haruno-san, let's not be hasty. The demon could be tamed in this form to be our perfect weapon. I have heard some rumors from Suna that their cage is experimenting with the idea, or soon will be, with his soon-to-be child. Why not turn the creature into a lethal weapon that we can control with a snap of our fingers, said Danzo, getting some of the group in front of him, interested only for Sarutobi to put his foot down on the idea. Absolutely not. Need I remind all of you that Arashi wished this boy to be seen as a hero, who I remind you used as a sacrifice to seal the demon fox within his stomach. To kill the child, much less use him as a weapon for your own ambitions, goes against what my late successor died for, said the Sandaime, getting nodded support from the other council members that were Hyuga Hayashi, Aburame Shibai, and the old Ino Shikacho group. Were you a bunch of demon lovers? Said Inuzuka, growling at the opposition before looking at the baby, sending killer intent at it, hoping to kill the infant with it. However, Sarutobi had sensed it the moment she looked in his direction at Naruto and forcefully silenced her with his own before Tsume's own could do anything against the child. There will be none of that, Inuzuka. Try that again and you will be in for a session with Ibiki, and we all know how he can treat those who have animal traits in them, said the Sandaime, making Tsume shiver in fear as she knew that when tortured by Ibiki your enhanced senses were not safe to have. What about the demon boy? Said Yasha Haruno, glaring at the child, though it would not be the last time that happened around the infant. You mean Arashi's son? Said Hayashi, getting looks of surprise and to a degree betrayal from the third, as though it was meant to be a secret. That demon is not the fourth child, said Amira Mitakato, getting a very angry look from his former partner at saying such a thing. Oh, who else would Arashi use to save us and the rest of the village from the Kyuubi's wrath? Who better to trust this task with than his own son, said Shibai, seeing the logic behind Arashi's decision to use the boy that was his son. I don't care if he's the son of Kami, he's still a taint on our village, even if what you say is true about him being from the Kazama clan itself. I say that the demon child goes to the orphanage like all the others that lost their parents. Let them deal with the child. With any luck the demon will starve to death, said Yasha Haruno, smirking at the thought, but was silenced by the Akimichi of the Ino Shikacho opposition, as that was one of their worst nightmares to face for their clan. We will compromise. The boy will have his last name changed to Uzumaki and will be put in the village orphanage until he is old enough to live on his own. Then when he is 16 years old he will then be told the truth and will receive all of his inheritance and the necessary teachers to train him in his father's ways. How does that sound? Said Hayashi as he looked at his fellow council members, who seemed to be in deep thought about it. Very well, 16 years old it is, but if that demon gets out of line even once Hokage-sama, he gets executed regardless of the reason, said Haruno, while mentally smirking, as all she had to do was tell a few hate-filled ANBU what she knew and the kid would be dead within the hour, even if he's defending himself, said Shibai, sensing the ill will the pink-haired woman had for the infant. Why not? If we let it defend itself it sends a poor message. We can't control the demon, said Sumo. Shikaku shook his head in disagreement. No, it sends a message that we do not honor a hero's dying wish and that ninjas can just bully the villagers no matter what. It would be a poor message sent by us that could make it hard to get potential clients in the future or favor from our own daimyo, said Shikaku, getting a nod from Shibai, knowing that they were on thin ice as it was with the man after Toad Sannon was spotted near the man's wife's personal indoor hot spring 4 months ago. After that, the Kyuubi could hear no more as he barely could on to hold consciousness and soon fell asleep in his cage. The sleep never lasted long though, as he only seemed to be awakening for a moment after several attacks on the boy's life that resulted in villagers and ninja being killed by a demonically enhanced child running on his subconsciousness and primal state while under his influence. Still, in the end it proved to everyone that attacking the boy just proved useless and fatal to those who tried it, much to the annoyance of the council that wanted Naruto dead. Thanks Kyuubi-sama. Aside from the old man Hokage, the old bat Tsunade, and Hinata-chan, you are the only one to earn my respect, said Naruto, bowing his head in gratitude towards the great fox demon. Hinata-chan, why do you call her that and not like the other two? Said Kyuubi, only to see Naruto look at him with a small increase of color to his cheeks with life in his eyes yet again, as if her name was all that could. Well, I guess it's because she's always nice. Like when she wanted to help me in the Chunin exams, then during the prelims she gave me that healing cream, and then before my fight with Neji she told me she believed in me and cheered me on. Also, she doesn't hate me for holding you, even though she will one day when she learns the truth, just like everyone else will when they think I'm dead, said Naruto, with his face losing the color and his eyes becoming dead again, much to the disheartened look on Kyuubi's face. Don't be so sure. I've seen many things in my life and I know this. That girl has a love for you that not even Kami himself could break with all his power. Trust me, when you return to Konoha she will not betray you, said Kyuubi, only to see Naruto shaking his head at the last part. I'm not going back to Konoha. That place is filled with sinners, idiots, and corrupt fools that deserve to be devoured by the death god himself, said Naruto, wishing nothing more than to see the looks on their faces the day that happened. If ever. I didn't mean go back right away, Kit. I meant return to Konoha in a few years after you've gotten strong enough to take back the honor that they stole from you. Me. And the fourth Hokage, said the Kyuubi before his chakra manifested itself around his fox body before shrinking down into a somewhat human form. When the red chakra had cleared Naruto's vision, he saw a man with dark brown reddish hair. His hard-looking eyes were covered with a clear glass visor on his face, and the face itself he noticed had some small facial hair on the lower part of his face. Is that your human form, Kyuubi? Said Naruto, half expecting ears and a tail to go with the black pants and dark brown reddish trench coat-like thing that seemed to be blowing in an unforeseen winds. Yes, in my many years I have made travel through the shinobi world even before some villages were first founded. When walking around in villages I knew that my larger form would frighten them and force them to either run or fight me. This form allows me to act more according to the ways of stealth that all the shinobis of the world pride themselves on having, said Kyuubi, walking out of the cage, scaring Naruto almost out of his mind. Literally, how did you do that? Said Naruto, hoping that his demon guest didn't want to back out and simply possess his vessel's body. I have always been able to do that, but only for a short time. It was how I was able to help you when you were younger, when you were attacked by villagers and ninja alike, said Kyuubi, getting an understanding nod, and now understood why the third had asked him if he remembered anything after the first attack on his life. Oh, thank you again, Kyuubi-sama, said Naruto, bowing his head again to show his appreciation to the demon lord. Don't call me that, said Kyuubi, his eyes hardening at the name everyone kept referring him by, as it was not his true name. Why? Said Naruto, not understanding. Because that name is not my own. It is not a title I want, nor did I want in the first place, so I cannot be called that anymore. From this day forward you will call me by my true name, said the demon lord, his cape somehow getting slightly larger than before. What is your true name? Said Naruto, wanting to know the fox's name so that maybe the two could be friends or even a family. Since you asked, I will tell you. My name is Zangetsu, said Zangetsu, extending his hand towards Naruto, who in response in return took it. Uzumaki Naruto, said Naruto, smiling at the taller figure, who gave his own. For now I can't tell him his true heritage until later. If I were to tell him now, he wouldn't be able to cope with all that has happened and with the people he hates back in Konoha. So for now I'll be quiet about his family legacy. If only for a little while longer, thought Zangetsu before wrapping his trench coat like chakra around Naruto, healing the wounds the battle had left behind. So what now, Zangetsu-sama? Said Naruto as the two broke off the handshake and were now talking strategy. We must kill all those who have wronged us, Naruto. From Sound Village to Akatsuki to those within Konoha itself. I must warn you though, Naruto, that should you do this there is no turning back from it, and those we swore to kill we must kill no matter how much they beg for their lives, said Zangetsu, as he did not want his vessel to get cold feet early on. I understand, Zangetsu-sama, said Naruto, knowing that showing mercy to his enemies was beyond approach now, and that only thing to do now was to unleash his hate upon the world. The old Naruto is dead. In his place that rose from his grave at the Valley of the End is a new and improved Uzumaki Naruto. And Uzumaki Naruto, who is a blood-spilling killer, a foul mouth, and the toughest sob around. You are going to be an Uzumaki Naruto who doesn't take shit from anybody. If someone so much as even looks at you the wrong way, you knock them on their ass and into the ground 6 feet under, said Zenjutsu, his eyes glowing and his trench coat-like form now covered Naruto up to his neck. From this day forward I pledge my loyalty to you, Zenjutsu-sama, and all the knowledge you empower me with, said Naruto, bowing his head, knowing that his old life and dream were dead and that a new was born in its place, to destroy everyone who had wronged him all his life. Let the bloodbath begin, said Zenjutsu, smiling at his protege, knowing they were in for one wild ride and their enemies were about to face their worst nightmare. Kami, help all their enemies, because no one else will. The people of Konoha waited for the team to return, only to find that when they did they were worse for wear and some needed to get medical attention right away. As the now battered-up retrieval team came in, people were wondering what became of their prized Uchiha Sasuke and the demon Uzumaki Naruto. If the demon was dead, then a party was in order, but if the Uchiha was dead, then a grand funeral in his honor would have to be prepared for the Sharingan user. Do you think Sasuke-kun will be okay? Said Ino to Sakura, who waited for the return of their beloved Uchiha. Of course he is. I made Naruto Baka promised me he would return Sasuke-kun to me, and if he doesn't, then I'll just kick the crap out of him for failing, said Sakura, with her inner self fully agreeing with her outer version. Why, you shouldn't be belittling Naruto-kun like that. He always keeps H's promises, because it's H's and Nindo, said Hinata, also waiting for her champion to return, but for her it wasn't the Uchiha everyone referred to. Her champion went by the name of Uzumaki Naruto. Soon one last figure came out of the shadows of the trees and into the village gates of Konoha that turned out to be none other than Kakashi, holding a living, unconscious, and breathing Uchiha Sasuke in his arms. The crowd cheered as he rushed past, and even more when they noticed that Uzumaki Naruto was not with the group, meaning he was dead or dying from fatal injuries. For the people living in the village hidden in the leaf, whether you were a ninja or just simply a villager, it was a double victory by their standards. While Sakura and Ino cheered about how Sasuke had returned, Hinata was devastated by the ordeal, knowing she would never be able to tell the boy she had looked up to how she felt. Naruto-kun is gone. But he can't be gone. Naruto-kun has to become Hokage like he always wanted. He has to achieve his dream, thought Hinata, her eyes flowing with tears as she fell to her knees, crying her heart out at the loss that had been delivered to it. Come on, Hinata, lighten up. So what if Naruto Baka is gone? Sasuke is back, and if you are nice, we will let you join us in rebuilding the Uchiha clan with him, said Sakura, as she looked over at Hinata, wondering how the girl could love the ramen addict so much. Yeah, good riddance. Sure, he made people laugh, but compared to Sasuke-kun, Naruto is just leftovers you feed to a sick dog in the alleyway, said Ino, not realizing what she said had created a major impact in the Hyuga girl's heart. And it was not good for Pinky or Blonde if the Hyuga girl had any say in the matter. Before any more words could be said more about either Sasuke or Naruto, a very worried-looking Tsunade came through the crowd, hoping her adopted little brother was all right. Kakashi, where is Naruto? Said Tsunade, not seeing him with the group or with the copycat ninja. Tsunade-sama, I'm sorry to tell you this, but Naruto is dead. Sasuke killed him with a Chidori to the chest while in psychotic episode brought on by the cursed seal, said Kakashi, knowing that was the most believable scenario that could have happened during the fighting. What? Said Tsunade, her shock hitting her heart, and yet for some reason she felt that something was off, and her women's intuition that had never failed her was telling her to probe deeper. As I said, Tsunade-sama, Naruto was killed by a Chidori, which I had taught to Sasuke for the Chunin exams in order to fight and win against Sabaku no Gaara, said Kakashi, giving Sasuke to a medic ninja who went right to work on the boy's injuries. As if that weakling could ever defeat me, said Gaara, eyes Kakashi with suspicion while his demon was whispering how the man spelled of hate for his brethren and that he had Naruto's blood mixed with the Uchihas in his hands. I suggest you watch your mouth, Sabaku no Gaara, as you will not find welcome to those who disrespect the Uchiha clan, said Kakashi, not liking the tone in the young red-haired brat's voice. Because what I say is true, Hadake-sen. Is it because you don't want me to tell the others just who beat me during the invasion of Konoha? The only one to earn my respect was the person who defeated me in combat, and his name is not Uchiha Sasuke, said Gaara, glaring at the Jounin, who in turn glared back. That's not what the report I was handed says, said Kakashi, wishing this thing like the Kyuubi would just die. Then your council falsified documents, as I was there and I know who beat me. It was Uzumaki Naruto who beat me. Not that run of an Uchiha you praise right now despite him being a traitor, said Gaara, getting shocked looks from everyone, though some were more of a look of disbelief than surprise. Liar. Naruto Baka couldn't fight his way out of a wet academy test, said Sakura, getting several laughs from the crowd as the test scores had been made public every time the boy failed. They would have laughed more had Gaara's sand popped out of his gourd and grabbed Sakura before slamming her into a nearby tree. When it comes to fighting strong, worthy opponents, I do not lie, you pink-haired whore, said Gaara, letting out a great deal of killer intent at everyone, shutting up their cries for the leaf ninja around them to kill him. As for Ino herself, she was going to retaliate to avenge her friend Sakura, but she was soon knocked out from behind by Hinata, who couldn't stand by and watch Naruto's name be driven through the mud while the Uchiha was polished like it was a rare jewel. If what you say is true, Haddock, about Naruto being dead, then I will need the one thing I gave him back, said Tsunade, who after watching that little argument between Gaara and Kakashi wasn't so sure of the man's story about how Naruto died. What is that, Hokage-sama? Said Kakashi, slightly surprised the Hokage gave the demon anything at all to hold on to. Wrong answer, liar, yelled Tsunade, punching the man through a wall, shocking everyone who saw her do it. Tsunade-sama, why did you do that? Said Tenten, shocked that the woman punched the book-reading pervert. If Naruto died as Kakashi claimed he did, then Naruto was face up or face down, but to confirm he was dead, Kakashi would have turned him over for the latter and seen he was wearing my necklace. If what Kakashi says is true, then Naruto would have wanted him to take the necklace I gave him back to me. The very fact that Kakashi does not have it means he's not telling the whole truth, said Tsunade, fuming at the man she had sent into near unconsciousness as he stumbled out from the wall he was sent through. Must enhance senses from Shukaku tell me he has Naruto's blood stained on his right arm just like the Uchiha in the same fashion. He also had some dried blood from Naruto on his foot, meaning he was in front of Naruto when he supposedly died. This leads to me to conclude Kakashi could have taken Naruto back with him along with the weakling of an Uchiha too, said Gaara, his face turning into a hateful glare at the now wobbling one-eyed Jounin. You mean Naruto-kun's own sensei killed him, said Temari, thinking back to how the boy she as well as Hinata had come to admire for taking on her brother and winning. Just when she thought she found a potential boyfriend who would respect her and yet not be afraid of Gaara. The boy's own sensei snuffs his life out like blowing out a candle. Sadly, it would appear that way, Temari, as it is just like in Suna when I was child, and Naruto has received no love from where he was born, only unlike me he never had any type of shield to protect him from harm. Tsunade, the new alliance between Suna and Konoha is officially over, as I cannot ally with a village that shuns their heroes for traitors like the Uchiha. It is a madness I do not want my family or my village involved in, said Gaara, turning to walk away with Kankuro and Temari right behind him. To think out of all the people in this village Naruto was the only good soul around, said Kankuro, shaking his head, who had helped his brother change complete in personality. To the three Suna siblings, Naruto was an angel in a place filled with sinners. Gaara-sama, please wait, said Tsunade, but the three were gone before she could stop them any further. Good riddance. Another demon in this village is the last thing we need, said a villager, getting several nods from the other people around him, only to be silenced with his head exploding from a punch to his head by an enraged Tsunade. Hokage's office moments later. After what she heard the villager say, Tsunade couldn't stand to see or hear the people of this place talk about Naruto like they did. Even now they were celebrating in the streets, shooting off fireworks into the sky. Tsunade figured that they had been saving them for just this sort of occasion, for when Naruto would one day die on a deadly mission like this. However, she imagined they would use the excuse of the Uchiha being rescued as for their reason for celebrating such a successful mission. Had it not been for the rain that was starting to come down, Tsunade imagined that there would be more fireworks shooting into the sky right about now. Drinking sake to stabilize her own grief, Tsunade had left Shizune in charge of Konoha's hospital from top to bottom. She had even told Shizune that if any of the doctors or the nurses were caught celebrating Naruto's death, she could kill them without question. Since they were the most experienced in medicine, they could always train more people outside the village to work here to keep the level of arrogance down. By that point, Jiraiya appeared looking grim, having heard the news from the crowd and what his stupid apprentice had been through with his old Team 7 sensei. Tsunade, I know you don't want to hear this, but despite the loss you have to stay as Hokage. If you don't, the leaf will fall into some worse times if you are not, and there are still people in Konoha that were still precious to Naruto before he died. If you decide to leave now, you will abandon all those that still care for him and leave them in the care of those who do not have their best interest at heart, said Jiraiya, wondering if it was a curse that had been on him when it came to taking on apprentices. It won't matter when the council revokes the Third's law on Naruto, telling them that he was really a demon in human skin. They won't care about him anymore and may even join in on the celebrating. Arashi was so stupid when he decided to save these ingrates he called his precious people, said Tsunade, slamming a fist down on the wooden and now slightly cracked table before letting out her cries and tears as only she could with Jiraiya to hold her. Let it out, Tsunade, I'm here. I know you think of me as nothing but a sleazy pervert all the time, but I did care about Naruto. I saw a lot of potential in him that I only saw in the fourth when I trained him to be what he was when he took the title of Hokage. Maybe when we finally die of old age and we see him again, we will have our chance to say what we should have said earlier, said Jiraiya, holding the woman tighter in his arms to try and calm her shivering form. I'm sorry, Naruto. I'm so sorry, said Tsunade, clinging to Jiraiya, who nodded his head, knowing those were the simple words they both would have to say in the afterlife when the time came. Tsunade, said Jiraiya, but was stopped when he sensed it, as did Tsunade, and both opened their eyes wide with fear at what they were sensing. Quickly they rushed to the window to see what they felt was also visible from their room, and found to their horror that it most certainly was. From the windows of the Hokage's office, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and basically every other place in the elemental country saw a spinning tower of demonic chakra shooting up towards the sky. What in the name of Kami? Said Tsunade, as her heart gripped with fear at what was happening outside where Naruto apparently died. The doors in her office immediately swung open and the council members came in, each looking as pale as the others of their group. Hokage-sama, what is going on? We thought that the demon died just like Kakashi said he did, said Yasha Haruno, finding that the second greatest day of her life was now turning into a horrible dream. Get me Kakashi in here now. He said Naruto died and he's going to tell us how he did, said Tsunade, wanting an explanation from the traitorous man. who was no better than Itachi. Fortunately, Kakashi appeared seconds later scared out of his mind, and Tsunade couldn't help but smirk at his reaction to the sight and sense of the demon fox's chakra towering into the heavens in the distance. "Hokage-sama," said Kakashi, only to be cut off by Tsunade when she ran at him, grabbed him by the throat, and slammed him into a nearby wall. "Tsunade-sama, put that ninja down now. He is a hero of this village and responsible for the death of Kyuubi," said Danzo in protest, only to be silenced by a venomous glare. "Shut up. Now Kakashi, you are going to tell me how you killed Naruto before you left, or I'll cut you up piece by piece with such precision that not even Orochimaru could put you back together for a future experiment," said Tsunade, squeezing the man's throat tighter to make sure he got his point. "He did. Hokage-sama. I killed. In Naruto ... with a yes second. See Chidori Tita hiss. See chess knowing that ... that after Sasuke had already given him a 1 in. Their fight ... and I knew he couldn't withstand another ... 1, said Kakashi, trying to free himself from the woman's incredible grip. "Anything else you neglected to mention? Like how you left him before he died," said Tsunade, giving the man a hard punch to the gut, making the man let out a scream in pain. In Naruto ... was still alive after the attack I hit him. W with an I kicked. I am might. H have kicked him into the cavern W wall ... at the V valley of ... the NB before using my rock slide jutsu to ... to be bury him beneath the earth, said Kakashi, hoping she wouldn't punch him again, and for a moment when she didn't he felt some relief. Before she made him scream in even more pain and she kneed him in the groin. "Hard. There is still a chance that he is alive," said Tsunade, clinging to the hope that the boy was still very much alive. "If he is alive, we should kill him before he seeks to take on us at full strength to get his revenge for abusing his human form. Danzo, get all the ANBU that you can and send a strike team after the demon and kill him without question," said Yasha Haruno, only to be silenced by the killer intent Tsunade generate around them, with Jiraiya diving behind her desk and waiting for the worst of the soon-to-be slaughter to be over. "She was never this mad when I was caught peeping at her through her window that one full moon 15 years ago. Sure, she beat the crap out of me and I was in the hospital for a good 3 months, but this is nuts," thought Jiraiya as he almost wished the Kyuubi would come and kill them all. Tsunade would have in fact killed them all had it been for the ominous roar they heard many miles away that brought them back to the present. The great primal sound echoed into Konoha, creating shockwaves that destroyed several homes and business. Demonic red lightning struck several places around Konoha, destroying them instantly from the sheer intensity of them, causing some panic in the streets. "Okami, are you doing this, Naruto? Or are you letting the Kyuubi out as punishment for failing Arashi?" thought Tsunade, look at the window only to see the same towering demonic chakra, only now she saw red lighting shooting around it from the cloudy sky and around Konoha as the rain dropped a heavier pace. One even struck the facial form on the Hokage monument that was first Hokage, causing the chunks of rock to fall onto the homes of the populace below. "Tsunade, what are?" said Jiraiya, only to be interrupted by the busty woman. "Send the ANBU. Tell them to find Naruto and if possible bring him back alive and unharmed. If not," said Tsunade, but didn't have the heart to speak it. "I'll go with them," said Jiraiya before glaring at the council members and a still on the ground Kakashi before leaving in poof of smoke. Hyuga compound. While this happened, Hinata had run home with tears in her eyes and her heart shattered to pieces at learning that Naruto was dead and she had not confessed her feelings for him. "It's not fair. Why can't I be strong like Naruto-kun? If I had, then I would have told him how I feel, then maybe he would have returned my feelings and then," thought Hinata, who couldn't help but blush at the fantasy of being along with her love and kissing him regardless of what others thought. There was a slight knock at her door and Hyuga Hayashi stepped in to see his daughter with tears in her eyes and trying to remove the ruffles on her ninja jacket to look nice in front of her father. "Hello, Hinata. I see you have heard the horrible news about Naruto-san's untimely death at the hands of his own sensei," said Hayashi, who would have taken care of the boy himself if it didn't create problems for him with his own family and those that opposed the idea altogether. "Why, father, why did Kakashi-sen kill Naruto-kun? His own student. Naruto-kun was never cruel to anyone and didn't deserve such betrayal." "Why," said Hinata after she ran to her father and cried as he held her in his arms, not even realizing that she didn't even stutter when she spoke. "Hinata, what I'm about to tell you must stay between us for now. It's an S-class secret of the village made by the third Hokage. However, if the council has its way they will most likely revoke the law now that Naruto is deceased," said Hayashi, doing his best to comfort his crying daughter. "Damn those clan elders and their traditions," thought Hayashi, as they wanted Hinata to be a part of the branch family with Neji so his little girl couldn't become clan head and remove the cage bird seal. "W what S-class S secret? W what D does I have T to do with N Naruto-kun?" said Hinata as she looked up at her father with puffy bloodshot eyes. "Hinata, do you know the birthday of Uzumaki Naruto?" said Hayashi, walking his daughter over to her bed where they both sat down on. "Why, yes, father. And Naruto-kun's birthday I is October 10th, W, which is T the same D-day as the Kyuubi was killed by T the 4th Hokage," said Hinata as she thought that if her birthday was on something that great she would be happy about it. But when she saw Naruto on his birthday last year he was always depressed. "Hinata, the truth is that the Kyuubi never died. It was sealed away by the 4th Hokage into an infant that had just recently been born. That child Hinata was, said Hayashi, but was interrupted by Hinata, whose eyes were wide with shock. Naruto. It was Naruto-kun, the fourth Hokage sealed Kyuubi into. That's the reason why people hate him and try to throw him out of places when he's not around others he trusts. Why I can feel their killer intent aimed at him on his birthday and why he never went to the festival at night, said Hinata, looking at her father, who sadly nodded to her before she threw herself around him yet again. Hinata, I want you to know that Naruto is not the fox demon that everyone thinks he is, despite their own fear and arrogance that plagues them. Naruto is still the boy that you love, and if he were still alive I would have given my blessing to pursue a relationship with him in the future, said Hayashi, getting a surprised look from his daughter, who blushed at the thought only for it to vanish and more tears came to mind. Damn, I helped and screwed up at the same time, thought Hayashi, who continued to try and calm his daughter by stroking her hair. Father, see, can we go see Nejinai-san at the H hospital, said Hinata, hoping that seeing someone she cares about being alive could help ease the pain, though in her mind she knew the pain would always be an open wound that would never close. After a while they exited the Hyuga compound, only for both of them to see as well as feel the immense demonic chakra in the distance, and soon a great primal roar was heard echoing in the distance from them from the tower of chakra that followed. What power, thought Hayashi, amazed at the power that was held in the Kyuubi, and at this point began to fully realize why the boy was to be considered a hero. The power leading into the heavens, though far away, was clearly a power that could rival the gods, and it had been contained by a 12-year-old boy. A boy that almost everyone in the village had shunned or hated during that time, and because of such hate Naruto may just become a self-fulfilled prophecy that would destroy everything and everyone in his path. Almost everyone. Naruto-kun, thought Hinata, wondering about her father's words and what he said to her about Naruto not being a demon, and thought back to what she knew of Naruto. The boy was never cruel to others. He always encouraged those close to him to do better whether they failed or not. If Naruto truly had been a demon he would have killed the Leaf Village long ago when the Sandaime was still alive. He's not a demon, said Hinata in a whisper, but the words had strengthened them that Hayashi, despite being afraid at the sight before, couldn't help but find some relief in his daughter's words. It's good to know that your feelings haven't changed for him, Hinata. However, to ensure that both you and your sister are safe I need you to head back into the Hyuga compound and wait for me to return, said Hayashi, who got a nod from his shy little Hinata as she bowed her head and left him to take care of dangerous matters that may involve her. Naruto-kun. No matter what, I will always love you and you alone, Naruto-kun, and should you ... know when you decide to come back I'll be waiting for you, thought Hinata, walking back into the Hyuga compound to inform her sister of the news, who she imagined was now scared out of her mind from sensing what Hinata already did. With the Suna siblings, Gaara had never knew the true meaning of fearing death, but when he sensed the massive wave of the Kyuubi's chakra and the roar that came later on, he felt that this demon was the perfect definition of it. As he looked back, Gaara realized that Naruto may not be as dead as his traitorous sensei claimed he was, or that the fox was free and looking to get a little payback for the abuse his vessel received over the years. Let us hurry to Suna. We have preparations to prepare for should the Leaf survive, and we need to make sure that all those that were Naruto's friends outside of the Leaf know the truth of what happened to him, said Gaara, seeing the clearly pale look on Temari's face and Kinkuro's sweaty palms that looked like they had been soaking in a lake. Yes, brother, said Temari and Kinkuro, knowing that when the shit hit, or rather if it hit the fan, they wanted to be far away from it as possible. Even if the demon inside Naruto didn't go after Konoha or that Naruto was alive, once the word got out what happened with him and the Leaf, the things were going to become hectic. In the eyes of the Suna sibling, the sins of the people in Konoha could not go on without them being punished for it. The spinning tower of demonic chakra had practically consumed the Valley of the End, covering it in Zenjutsu's massive demonic essence. Combined with his vessel's emotions of pain, suffering, and betrayal, well ... let's just say life had no chance of hell growing in this place even if the first Hokage tried to make it happen. The intense bout of demonic chakra that Zenjutsu released felt invigorating to Naruto rather than a burden. Unlike the other times Naruto called on the fox's power, the two were never acting in perfect unison, thus causing problems for the boy. Now handling the demonic fox's chakra in a perfect blend with his own, though extremely difficult, was in fact running quite smoothly. Naruto could feel himself physically changing as he embraced this demonic influence given by Zenjutsu, who channeled the chakra with Naruto to make the changes perfect. The first thing he had to do was to make Naruto taller, since the kid was basically at the moment a midget and all, but Neima needed to grow the height he should have been had he eaten healthy. Naruto, when we are done here you must travel to Wave Country to pick up some things that will assist you in our travels, said Zenjutsu with his body behind Naruto to help the massive amount of chakra to flow without trouble. I understand, Zenjutsu-sama, though at the rate I am growing I need new clothes, said Naruto, as he felt his body reach a new height of 5'4" rather than the 4'8" that he originally was. You will have such items when this is over, but stay alert as I sense a squad of ANBU and the one you call a Rosenin heading our way, said Zenjutsu, slightly tired from giving the boy so much power just to be alive and change the boy for the better. Great. Just when things are looking up I have the super pervert on my ass along with ANBU, who I bet want to kill my ass whether a Rosenin is with them or not. I guess when they saw the power you unleashed to help me, Tsunade had to go on the side of caution and send a team to investigate and if need be Destroy, said Naruto, finding that the same woman he brought back to Konoha to be the Hokage had most likely signed his death warrant with those ANBU. The irony of it all. Soon after a good 10 minutes the storm died down and the Tower of Chakra was no more as it sank back into the seal and onto Naruto, changing its energy composition to become a set of clothing for him. It was all black with a reddish tint to it, with that same type of billowing cloak-like appearance Zangetsu now has with his. Just as his new clothing finished its manifestation on him, Zangetsu also retreated back to the seal to rest minutes before the ANBU and Jiraiya appeared dressed for battle, though Jiraiya himself looked the same as ever. Naruto, said Jiraiya, motioning the ANBU squad to keep their distance as to not piss the boy off. How are you, Uro-Sennin? Still getting the crap kicked out of you by the old hag, said Naruto, his eyes closed as he didn't need to open them just yet. Mind who you talk about, demon, said an ANBU of the group, only to get a glare from Jiraiya that told him to shut up, along with "you're going to get it later. I take it the council that opposes my very existence ordered them to come kill me. Are you here for that too, Uro-Sennin? Was all that you trained me even for a little while just some form of humor for you to get your kicks off? Train the little Kyuubi brat for a little while, then ditch him when it was no longer funny. Use him as a running joke, then just backstab him to get back at the Kyuubi in me that helped kill the 4th Hokage," said Naruto venomously while frowning heavily with his eyes closed, feeling the depths of his anger awakening again as he spoke. Naruto, it isn't like that. I'm not your enemy and neither is Tsunade. She cares about you like the 3rd did. Surely you see that, right? Said Jiraiya, hoping the boy would see the truth in his words. What are you wasting your time for, Jiraiya-sama? It's clear by the boy's appearance that the Kyuubi has taken over his mind and body. We need to kill him before he decides to attack us in the village, said another ANBU, reaching behind his back for his sword, only to be stopped by the sudden pressure they all felt from Naruto's killer intent. Listen here, all of you dipshits, and that includes you too, Jiraiya-sama. I am not going to be your little punching bag anymore. Those days are over. From now on, this punching bag is going to do his own bit of punching, only this time aim ... KALL, said Naruto as he opened his eyes, revealing cold red eyes that screamed pain for all that messed with the boy. Jiraiya took a step back, not wanting to feel the boy's wrath or to at least prove to the boy that he didn't want to fight in any way. The ANBU, however, while they took the look from Naruto's eyes and his words as a means of aggression that was against the leaf. Kill the demon, said the leader of the ANBU before the group of 6 surrounded Naruto, who just stared at Jiraiya, not caring about the other. Tell that old hag and that damned council that every person she sends after me will die, and every time she does, this moment will be the end result if that happens, said a hate-filled Naruto, removing one slightly clawed-looking hand from his cloak and held it firmly above his head, open-palmed. Naruto, wait, said Jiraiya before leaping away as the ANBU just charged forward like the stupid idiots that they were. Demonic art, dome of devastation, said Naruto as his eyes flashed red for an instant before he was covered in a dome of red chakra that was 20 feet in diameter, killing all in its path. The ANBU were easily disintegrated while Jiraiya got away with a few scorch marks on his white mane of hair. The dome lasted for about 5 minutes before Naruto retracted it into his palm and looked at the super pervert with hatred that had been bottled up for the 12 years of his life that he hid behind fake smiles and cheers. Naruto, don't do this. I was not sent here to kill you. I was here to convince you to come back to Konoha by Tsunade, said Jiraiya, looking at what had become of his student. Even if I did come back with you, I would be put on trial for hurting their all-precious Uchiha and no doubt be executed or exiled because of it. Do you honestly think that I want to go back to being beaten up on my birthday? To be thrown out of shops or to be charged 3 times the amount for something that has long been rusted or something edible that's expired? 60-year-old homeless people dying from cancer get more mercy than I do in Konoha, so don't go on about how there are people there that care for me, because they don't, said Naruto, sending a wave of chakra at Jiraiya, who was flown back several more feet. Naruto, you idiot, of course there are people who care about you. What about Rock Lee? He wants to fight you once he's healed. What about Hyuga Hinata? She basically, in all sense of the word, loves you, said Jiraiya, who would have said more, but stopped when he realized that Hinata was a taboo name as the ground beneath him started to shake and more hatred poured out of Naruto's eyes. Don't you think I know that? I know she cares about me, but I can't tell her how I feel about her since she'll be a target for being a demon lover. You think her own clan will protect her from the mobs that will form to cleanse her of my demon taint? Half the attacks on me were coordinated by that bastard clan, and when the old man promised me they would be punished, I believed him, but you know what? About 2-3 days after all the attacks, they were back on the streets looking all smug at getting away and beating the crap out of me. You want to tell me Uro-Sennin, who has that pull in politics of Konoha, that have the strength enough to overturn the Hokage decision? It doesn't take an idiot or a super pervert to know the truth behind what had happened in the days the Sandaime took office again, said Naruto as his chakra and Zangetsu started to swirl around him as he got ready to leave this place. You know the council will send wave after wave of hunter ninja after you, right? They will think the Kyuubi has influenced you to the point where you need to be killed, right? Said Jiraiya, wondering how the hell the 3rd Hokage had let it go this far. Just tell her for every team she sends have a good supply of body bags ready ... if I even decide to leave her with a body. Oh, and the name of my demon sensei is not Kyuubi ... it's Zangetsu, said Naruto before the spinning chakra consumed him and left no trace of the boy or where he may have gone. Tsunade is going to kill me, said Jiraiya, shedding a tear before heading back to the Leaf Village, knowing that the next time that Naruto and him meet again they would no longer be master and apprentice. They were going to be enemies that would have to fight to the death. The walk to Wave Country was a little longer than Naruto remembered. It was even with the teleportation jutsu he used to leave the Valley of the End. It had been an entire week before he entered Wave territory, and once he saw the bridge not far off in the distance he knew he was nearly home. If anything, Wave Country had become the place that Konoha had long since forgotten it was, or it only pretended to be. Wave Country was the home of heroes. Wave Country was the true home of Uzumaki Naruto. Still, given everything that happened, it would be best if this hero stayed in the shadows a little while longer, thought Naruto, walking towards the bridge. His trench coat morphed slightly to cover most of his head, leaving only the jawline of his mouth. As he walked to the very beginning of the bridge that would allow him access to his home, he saw a plaque with an inscription on the bridge floor. "Welcome to the Great Uzumaki Naruto Bridge, named after the hero who brought light into our dark world and showed a demon that it was okay to care for someone other than yourself. There is more truth in this plaque than Konoha will ever know," said Naruto, taking a step over the plaque before walking straight on to see some old friends who could put him up for the night, if just only for the one night. When Naruto arrived at Tezuna's house, he was surprised that nothing changed except a nice garden and small, but noticeable renovation on the side that was clearly meant to house more people. He walked up to the house and saw a small note on the door and began to read it. "Dear whoever reads this, we're in the market area right now, so if you need us you know where we are. Hope to be back in 30 minutes as of 11:30 a.m. Tsunami, Inari, and Tezuna." So they aren't home yet. This note said as of 11:30 a.m. and it's 11:45 a.m. right now. "I have 15 minutes to kill before they come back, so why not take care of what I have to do now?" said Naruto, as he looked up at the sun to figure out the time and began retracing his steps back to a certain grave he needed to pay his utmost respect for before he did what he had to do. "This Outragous, yelled Tsunade, slamming her fist into the council meeting room, making a spider web crack from her impact zone to the entire table itself. Things had not been good for the people of Konoha during the week Naruto left, not by a long shot, as they were dealt multiple blows to the village. As soon as Gaara returned to Suna, the boy got word of what happened in Konoha to the other places that cared about Naruto. It had quite the impact-like effect that Gaara had hoped for. The first was Suna killing the alliance they had with Konoha, informing its people exactly how the boy that had changed Gaara for the better had been betrayed by his sensei. The people in Suna were outraged at this. Since the time after the Chunin exams happened, the people had publicly apologized for their behavior to Gaara after things calmed down and they saw the change in the boy. The people of Suna were in full agreement with the new Kakashi that was Gaara, that they unanimously agreed to ban all Leaf Shinobi from their walls regardless if they were dead, dying, or so much offering to sell goods. The second one came an even bigger blow as the daimyo of Wind and Fire heard the news that had been written personally by Gaara himself, explaining how Naruto had the fox demon inside of him, had been abused all his life despite the late fourth Hokage's wishes, how the boy never hurt anyone unless it was self-defense, and how the boy had nearly been killed by his own sensei Hadate Kakashi, who was a student under the fourth Hokage. The two daimyos had been outraged by this since they had been at the Chunin exams and had seen the boy fight with a passion worthy of being called the Will of Fire that the third Hokage always preached about. The daimyo from Wind was now giving his missions he once gave to Konoha back to Suna and increased their military budget to that of several times what it once was. The blow to the Leaf Village came as the daimyo from Fire Country decided, until Konoha was able to regain its lost fire, that it would have to make do with a devastating budget cut. The third blow came from Spring Country after the princess, actress Yuki, changed its name after the seasons became into normal regulation. She had been outraged by how Konoha had treated Naruto, and any further missions she wanted to have done on her behalf were give to Suna or Waterfall. She even tore up her contract involving herself in the Ika Ika Paradise movie, saying Konoha could find some cheap whore to take her place. Jiraiya had fainted, not believing it was true, only to find out it was after rereading the letter she sent them. The poor super pervert was sent to the hospital for 3 days, suffering a brief heart attack at missing out on having a lovely actress and princess of all things star in his movie. Speaking of the hidden Waterfall Village, that blow was number 4, as they had put Konoha from ally to neutral and bordering on enemy. They claimed that anyone who tries to kill a hero was not worthy of being allied with, and thus Konoha was put on notice. The fifth blow came in the form of Wave Country, who had sent a letter to Tsunade that had just arrived for her to show the council members. All of Wave Country had fallen in line with the other places that were close to Naruto and had cut off all trading ties with the hidden Leaf Village. They now only did business with Suna, Waterfall, and of course Spring Country. There was even a ban on all things from the Leaf Village, and if found were to be destroyed, burned, or if it was a person from Leaf they would be tied up and sent home in a box with holes in it. Whether the person was alive when he or she got arrive in Konoha was, quote, not their problem, so deal with it, end quote. It didn't help that the sixth blow was more for Tsunade than Konoha, as the majority of the council decided the only way to get rid of this problem was to kill Naruto. Call it what you want, Hokage-sama, but it's clear that all of our troubles started with that demon spawn, so it's clear that the only way to end it is with killing the creature, said the ever-evil pink-haired woman Yasha Haruno. You can call any way you want to, but like the rest of us we see it for what it truly is for us to see, you pink-haired bitch. The only reason you wanted that boy dead was because Arashi married someone else and not you, said Inoichi, getting a very cold glare from the other woman. Well, he should have married me. I was prettier than that whore of a woman he fell in love with. Had she not died of childbirth, I would have killed her myself, said the pink-haired Haruno, who still hated Arashi for being in love with that cheap woman he called a wife. Still as shallow as ever, Hayasha. You never did understand the concept between love and simply marrying for status, said Shibai, looking at the group before them, as he had met Arashi's wife, and by no means was she cheap as the Haruno woman made her sound. That woman was a goddess among women that men would have sold their souls just to feel her hand touch their faces. At least that was Shibai's opinion anyway. What would you know of Burame? At least we Harunos can flaunt our beauty in public while you hide yourselves behind those horrible little bug colonies you have growing in your homes, Yasha smirking at the point she mentally received for that insult. Beauty? What beauty? All I see is a shallow woman wearing makeup to hide her ever-growing wrinkles. Plus it would seem that your daughter acts the same as you did when you were younger, as it's clear from the way she's hunting for the Uchiha, said Hayashi, seeing how the Haruno children always acted like their parents when they were younger. I am not old. As for my daughter, she's in love like the rest of the female populace the Uchiha's age, who are after him. What's your point? Said Yasha, clearly upset by the Hyuga's attitude towards her with those damn piercing eyes. My point is, had you been Arashi's wife, we wouldn't be talking about this right now, about Naruto being executed now, would we? Said Nara, as he had found that Naruto's involvement with his son had done wonders for the both of them. Like I would keep the demon child even if he was mine. I would have thrown him into the river to drown so he could sent back to hell, said Yasha, smirking at the joy she felt at finally able to speak clearly on the matter about it without the fear of the third S-class law, since the council majority had revoked and the whole village now knew. As I said, a shallow woman, said Shibai, his bugs buzzing around him, clearly irritated by the hate being generated by this member of the council. Had you all listened to me 12 years ago, the boy would have made an effective weapon for us to wield. But now, because of the third's mercy towards the demon, its power will be used against us, said Danzo, getting an agreement from Sum and to a degree Yasha as well. That demon child beat my son up at the Chunin exams. I demand justice, said Sum, wanting to tear the boy apart for beating her son and possibly be promoted to Chunin. You can't punish the boy for what happened at the preliminaries just because your son lost to him, said Tsunade finally, though after reading exactly what happened that was involved in Kiba's defeat, she nearly wet herself from too much laughter and too much sake in the process. She had to admit Naruto had a clever imagination when it came to strategy and beating an opponent. I can punish him for being the demon that he is. He shouldn't have taken the Chunin exams, and the only reason he did was because Haddock-san wanted to help Uchiha Sasuke to qualify and reach the rank of Chunin, said Sum in anger as her clawed hands dug into the table. This is why Kohona needs to have the demon killed before his influence from what has happened gets too out of control, said Amira, with his former teammate Koharu in full agreement with this. I do not approve of such action, and as Hokage I forbid it, said Tsunade, glaring at the fools that would dare to even try and kill Naruto. Even if you don't approve of it, Tsunade, the majority of the council here outnumbers you in this decision, and the hunter ninjas have already been deployed, said Danzo, since Kakashi was as of now sitting in for the Uchiha clan, since even though the eye he possessed was not originally his own, still made him qualified to some degree. I still can't believe that even after learning the truth of Naruto's parentage you would still favor the Uchiha bastard Kakashi, said Tsunade, who was outright furious at the fact that the council gave the man a pardon for removing the demon from Kohona. Just because he was the fourth son doesn't mean he still is. Frankly, I owe Abido more than I ever did Arashi, said Kakashi, calmly thinking back to how his sensei told him that the Chidori was a poor substitute for the racing, and since the white-hair boy that he was back then couldn't master the attempt at it. You narrow-minded fool, said Tsunade, spitting in Kakashi's section of the council table. Enough, Hokage-sama, we have more pressing matters to attend to right now, like the loyalty of the Uchiha and making him strong. Enough, kill his brother Itachi, said Danzo, knowing that such a thing was in need of handling. The Uchiha should be executed for his treason, and his bloodline should die with him, said Tsunade, never liking the Uchihas for all their arrogance. You heard Kakashi, he was under a curse-sealed psychotic episode that was induced by Orochimaru. If we can show Sasuke our power is still stronger than what Orochimaru possesses, we can keep him on our side and away from the Snake Sannin, said Himura, knowing that the only way the boy would get stronger was by giving it to him. You mean stuff him with so many jutsus that Kakashi knows he won't even think of leaving the village. You mean to pamper the Uchiha traitor while the real hero has been exiled and all but name, said Jiraiya, who was beside her, sickened by what he was hearing. Pamper is such a strong word, Jiraiya-sama. We were thinking along the lines of giving the Uchiha prodigy what he wants, said Sum, smirking at her choice of words. And when you have no more to give him, when Orochimaru can give him jutsus and power outside this village, what then? What happens when all you offer him runs dry and you can't control the weapon you want to make him into? Said Jiraiya, seeing what the fools were doing. A weapon? Oh my, that's not what we're training him to do at all, Jiraiya-sama. We plan on helping the boy achieve the power and recognition a prodigy of his caliber rightfully belongs to a member of the Uchiha clan. We intend for him to be ready to become our sixth Hokage by the time he's 18, said Amura, shocking the other members of the council along with Tsunade and Jiraiya. And to make this possible, you Jiraiya-sama are going to help teach the boy everything that you taught the fourth, including the Rasengan, said Koharu, who saw the furious look on the man's face. Absolutely not. Naruto is my only apprentice, and I'll be damned and dead before I teach that spoiled little brat anything, said Jiraiya, who would rather be gay right now than go anywhere near the Uchiha, much less train the kid. You will do as this council orders you to, and that's final, said Himura, knowing the man regardless of rank could not disobey the council that gave it to him. To hell with you and your Uchiha, said Jiraiya before going poof in front of a very shocked council, who thought the man would follow their orders. Well, if Jiraiya won't teach Sasuke, perhaps Tsunade can teach his teammate Sakura and become her apprentice, said Koharu, looking at the female Hokage, who scowled at her for even suggesting it. Why would I waste my time with that pink-haired whore? Unless it's Uchiha related or it somehow gets her into his pants, she won't do anything that involves the necessary hard work that is required, said Tsunade, knowing just how Sakura was since her mother was the same. You will teach my daughter or else, said Yesha, only to have the table in front of her shatter and break, causing her to let out a small shriek after Tsunade punched it again. You'll do what exactly? You see this? That is strength I gained from my training and from the war that cost me everything back then. I would rather have my limbs cut off than teach that sniveling little Uchiha-loving slut so you can take your orders and shove them up your ass. I am the Hokage, and I determine who I train if I decide to train them, said Tsunade, walking out of the room much to the angry protests of Kakashi, Danzo, Tsume, Yasha, Himura, and Koharu. You deserved better, Naruto-kun, said Hinata, who was sitting in her room staring at the autographed picture of her Naruto-kun in bandages from his mission in Snow Country, with the Princess Yuki in the picture giving him a kiss. Had the princess been more serious in her affections towards Naruto, the Hyuga heiress may have felt a twinge of jealousy. After her father came home that day after the demonic chakra from the nine-tailed fox left, he told her she could move freely, but only if she was with someone she knew and trusted. She had gone to find the weapon mistress Tenten, who upon speaking to agreed to help her in saving Naruto's belongings and personal objects that were his from any future harm from the villagers. When they got there, they found the door already kicked in and the place a mess, though most of the place was empty even before the intruders tore it up. Floorboards torn up, the walls had holes in them, in parts that didn't have holes had "Die Demon" and "Go kill yourself, freak" written on the walls in red paint with a picture of a fox with a sword through its mouth. It made Hinata weep and Tenten look around in shock at how people can hate for things beyond your control. After looking around through parts that weren't destroyed by the villagers or from what appeared to be Father Time, they found a wall that seemed to be for the most part unscathed. The two soon discovered upon inspection that there was a very potent genjutsu on this wall that seemed to be long-lasting due to the amount of chakra behind it that Hinata sensed with her Byakugan. After Hinata removed the genjutsu, she found it was hiding a secret room that seemed to hold all that Naruto held dear. The door itself was nearly impregnable, as there were so many set of traps, counter-traps to the ones that failed, and several lock mechanisms that made Tenten break out her toolkit. It cost the weapon mistress half her lock-picking arsenal to get through all the locks, while having Hinata use her Byakugan to get through the trickier parts of the wall's design. After the last lock was picked and the 50 pounds worth of steel chain had been removed, they opened the door and found all that belonged to Naruto that had value and was in this room. And it was the picture of him in Team 7 after passing the bell test, his green-colored goggles he wore before getting his ninja headband, the autographed picture given to him by Princess Yuki, and surprisingly a letter from Ibiki himself saying how proud he was of the boy for passing his section of the exam without answering a single question on the written portion of the exam. There was also a more disturbing bit of Naruto's life in here as well, on the right side of the room, showing pictures of kids with their parents having fun. On the wall above the picture were several questions that shook Hinata to her soul. Why can't I be loved? Why can't I have a family? Where's my family? Am I a monster? To see the boy she loved and tried to impress, keep all he held dear hidden away, nearly destroyed her inside. She knew that even with his defensive wall they had torn down, his belongings were no longer safe in this hellhole of an apartment. After she and Tenten took everything, they showed it to her father, Jiraiya, Shizyun, and Tsunade, who were just as shocked as the two girls first were. Hinata waited for the woman in her office once Naruto's stuff had been safely tucked and stored away from harm. Tsunade then summoned her old teacher Iruka from the Ninja Academy, who was being asked questions by his current group of students about Naruto. Questions that made him sick to his stomach with the thought that the kids would hate Naruto, and he knew that even if he answered in a way that would stem the hate, if only for a short while, it would just be torn aside by the other teachers and kids' parents that hated Naruto more than ever. Apparently the scarred teacher's only sense of relief was that the Konohamaru Corps had stayed loyal to Naruto like he had even after all that happened. Tsunade ordered Iruka to launch a full yet secret investigation into Naruto's education at the academy to find out how the boy knew so much yet showed so little during that time. While neither Hinata nor Tenten found out what Iruka had found in his investigation, as it was never discussed with the girls later on. When asked about it by either person, the two who knew the truth let out a great deal of killer intent that was directed at an unseen foe that neither girl could imagine. I have to visit Neji Nai-san with Tenten-chan soon, so I should probably go now. I do not know where you are, but don't worry, Naruto-kun, I'm here waiting for you, thought a slightly blushing Hinata before she kissed the picture of her love before stowing it away from any and all seeing eyes that may be watching. Naruto stood there looking at the markers that represented the grave of the two people that inspired him the most in his short life. He couldn't help but find it ironic that it had been someone who had the title of demon that had done this, much less helped them in the end to complete the mission. Before Naruto was the sword of Mamachi Zabuza with the blade half buried and slowly rusting in the earth, along with the shattered mask of the boy who followed him. A boy who simply went by the name of Haku, though Naruto imagined that he would have taken on Zabuza's last name if he wanted to. It was then that Senjutsu appeared behind Naruto and put his hand on the boy's shoulder in a comforting gesture and to let him know he was there. "It's not easy seeing such warriors dying the way they did," said Senjutsu, who got a nod from Naruto looking at the two markers. "The blade looks rusted from being in the earth for what seems like only short time," said Naruto, seeing the rust was slowly eating away the craftsmanship of the sword. "Many things do seem like a short time if you constantly remember them to keep a part of you alive, Naruto. What part of this place did you try to keep alive when you tried order to honor them?" said Senjutsu, curious at the boy's response. "Everything, really. Zabuza was fighting for a dream similar to mine, only he wanted to take over mess so he could become the new Kage. Haku's was to protect the one precious to him, who turned out to be Zabuza. How can you not want to keep their spirits alive given who they were and what they believed in?" said Naruto, looking back at Senjutsu, who nodded, fully agreeing with Naruto on the matter. "Naruto, look at the hilt of Zabuza's sword. Can you hear it? Can you hear it calling to you like it did a second ago?" said Senjutsu, seeing Naruto turn around as if he heard it. "Pick me up, boy. Pick me up now," said a whispered, a powerful voice echoing in the wind. "Yeah, I think I did, but I can't take Zabuza's sword. It's not mine to take," said Naruto, wondering why the sword of its late master would call to him of all people. "Only the blade belonged to Zabuza, not the hilt, Naruto. Trust me when I tell you to break the blade off at the hilt," said Senjutsu, watching with slight anticipation. "Are you really sure?" "I don't want to disrespect the dead," said Naruto hesitantly, despite the calling the hilt of the sword was making. "Do it," yelled Senjutsu, starting to lose his patience with his vessel. "I will do as you wish, Senjutsu-sama," said Naruto, walking over to the sword carefully before saying a small prayer. "And I'm sorry," and after looking at where the blade and hilt met, removed the two from each other with a small clink. "Very good. Now go to your mindscape and don't come out until you have learned its true name," said Senjutsu, folding his arms, waiting for Naruto to try. "No. Its name," said Naruto, confused at what Senjutsu was talking about. "All swords have names, Naruto, but the names do not come from the blade, but from the hilt of the sword itself. You must enter your mindscape and speak to the spirit of the one who lives within the hilt. By speaking his name, the blade of your sword will appear and your appearance will change as well. I think after you have been through, both you and that hilt have much to talk about," said Senjutsu, who got another nod from Naruto, who was about to when he stopped to realize something. "Before I do this, can I go back to Tazuna's house and see if he, Tsunami, and Inari are there? I don't mean to disrespect my sword or anything, I just need to see them so they know I'm here and need a place to stay. For all I know, what you want me to do might leave me exhausted, and what better way to have shelter than in the family that took me in," said Naruto, hoping Senjutsu would understand. "Perhaps, with Konoha sending Hunter Ninja everywhere, you will be a sitting duck if you stay in your mindscape for too long. Go back to Tazuna's house and see if you can stay the night, then head into the village and ask for a mask to be made to help disguise you for later travel," said Senjutsu, knowing that the 15 minutes were more than up as the sun was now high into the air. Time sure did fly when having fun on an educational level. Hyuga Neji sat in his hospital room resting as the morphine drip in his arm numbed the constant pain he should be feeling at the moment after his near-fatal encounter with that Sound 4 member. When his strength gave out at the end of the fight, all Neji could do was thank Naruto for helping him choose his own destiny. His choice was to let the much stronger ninja win or fight to the end and have a chance at living to see another day. The fact that he was in the hospital right now and alive meant that he had in fact made the right choice. "Thank you, Naruto. I now know what my cousin sees in you. You see things far beyond anything the Byakugan could ever see," thought Neji, looking at the ceiling and above him, since it was all he could do. He wondered if he could count all those tiles in a single day if he put his mind to it. "YOSH, my youthful Hyuga student. You are finally awake," yelled Guy, appearing in one of his crazy stances. "Maybe if I move my left arm over to the IV in my right, I can somehow kill myself before he goes more into his rant," thought Neji, barely able to move his neck, much less able to move his left or right arm. "Damn, the rules on defying fate can be a harsh mistress. In all seriousness, Neji, I have uncovered some horrible news that you need to hear," said Guy, losing the smile and frowning towards his student. "What did he say?" Guy is being serious. No funny stances, hugs, and that strange Sunny at the beach looking background when he hugs. Thought Neji, slightly worried he was now in an alternate universe where Guy was not as youthful as he normally is. "While you were out unconscious, Neji, Uzumaki Naruto successfully defeated Neji after fight him one-on-one. However, it's apparent that my former no longer hip rival Headache Kakashi tried to kill Naruto, who was already severely injured as he was having suffered a Chidori to the chest, only to be hit by a second one by Kakashi himself," said Guy, as he frowned even more at the silver-haired man's behavior while his hands had now become clenched fists. "What? Naruto's own sensei attempted to kill him? It makes no sense. The boy had won against the Uchiha prodigy and completed the mission. Why attack your own student when he clearly completed the mission?" thought Neji, trying to work out these thoughts running around the workable part of his brain. I can tell by your puzzlement that you don't get it either. Tell me, have your dreams while you were unconscious been different for you in the very beginning than what you are normally used to? Said Guy, as he already asked Lee about it since he had been in the hospital unconscious from exhaustion up until yesterday. Different dream. When I was unconscious I saw many things from my past and all of them were about father at first, but later on the scenery changed. I saw death everywhere and Naruto at the heart of it wielding a deadly sword that screamed with power. Next to him was man, yet he was not a man at all, and his red coat moved with an unnatural grace and smoothness from a wind that was not even there. What the weirdest part of the dream was that in the end, before everything returned to normal, the strange figure spoke briefly. But his words kept echoing within my mind, thought Neji, as he closed his eyes trying to remember what it was that man said. In an instant the memory of the whole event happened, and more as he remembered that of a child's voice whispering in the distance. Did you hear about the warrior who couldn't be destroyed? Said the child's voice as flashes of what seemed to be Naruto fight with Sasuke, and strangely enough an attempt by Hadake Kakashi to kill the blonde youth. The warrior who couldn't be destroyed, thought Neji as more images appeared before him with Naruto being struck down and betrayed by his own sensei. The warrior was set on fire by his former teammate and was betrayed by his teacher, who buried him alive. Said the child's voice, showing Sasuke setting all the clones on fire when Naruto made a whip out of them and threw the Uchiha into the rock wall before showing Kakashi hitting Naruto with a Chidori and then burying him in a rock slide. Betrayed by his own sensei, thought Neji, as the image of Kakashi scowling at his student's bleeding form repeated over and over again. Those who betrayed him made one single mistake. Every time they think he's beaten, the warrior keeps coming back. Said the whispered voice before showing the demonic force behind Naruto's return. Naruto, I had no idea. You truly are one bound by the chains of fate. You know what it means to defy destiny. To defy death itself even, thought Neji before seeing the image of an emotionless Naruto turning to stare at him with dead eyes that seemed to be without a soul. The Chunin exams, said Naruto in a cold voice before disappearing into the darkness with only the other figure remaining. You must choose. You must choose which side to fight. HYUUGANEJI, said the echo inside his head, snapping the boy's eyes wide open. I take it from your reaction you saw him too, said Guy with his all-serious face was still something that Neji was not used to. I'm the only one, said Neji while looking at Guy for answers, finally finding his voice to speak if just barely. Lee felt it too when he was brought to the hospital after his devastating fight with an albino, who was part of the Sound Four that are the bodyguards of Orochimaru, said Guy looking at Neji with an intense look the man never seemed to have before. What does it mean, Guy-sensei? Said Neji before giving up and moving and rest his head on the pillow more. I don't know. As of now you and Lee are the only ones conscious, so I can't ask the others, and Shikamaru never fell unconscious. Until we talk to the others about what their dreams were like, we have to keep this dream away from the council. The last thing we need is them pulling what resources the village is left to kill Naruto, said Guy before explaining all that had happened during the week to a shocked Neji and more on the key blows the village as a whole had suffered as a result of Kakashi's actions. Tazuna was a man who was old, was constantly drinking and a drunk when doing so, and he always used the word super a lot. However, the man, no matter how drunk, would never turn down the boy that saved their home from destruction at the hands of Gato. Demon vessel or not, a hero was always a hero, and Naruto to them was a hero. That was the warm welcome Naruto received when he arrived at Tezuna's house when he walked up the steps and knocked 3 times on their door. I can't believe that our superhero has come back just like he promised he would, said Tezuna, who broke out a bottle for him and Naruto, but mostly him to drink. I'm still underage, mind you, Tezuna-san, said Naruto rather than calling him a name like Smelly Drunk or Super Old Drunk just for kicks. Whoa, did you just call me Tezuna-san? Man, this must be really important for you to speak formally when coming all the way here first, Naruto. With Kohona hating you and your own sensei trying to kill you and all, well, we think it's just plain cruel, said Tezuna, shocking Naruto slightly at the fact that they knew just about everything he was going to tell them. Word traveled fast. Thank you, Tezuna-san. I have a favor to ask though, if you don't mind, said Naruto, bowing his head out of respect to Tezuna, Inari, and Tsunami. Aren't you a bit young to marry my daughter? Said Tezuna, grinning, getting all 3 of them into a face plant. Tsunami blushed as she hit her father over the head with her frying pan several times for asking such a stupid question. Still, maybe if he were 10 years older I might consider it, thought Tsunami after she had finished bashing her frying pan into the old drunk that was her father. Tempting Tezuna-san, but sadly I must respectfully decline. I have things to do, and for them to work I need a different kind of favor. I need to use your house for a day, if not a simple few days. If that's all right with you, of course, said Naruto, not wanting to intrude on their happy home. All right with it all. Of course it's all right, said Tezuna and Inari, with both yelling the last part at the same time while the boy gave the other a hug. Thank you all. However, to ensure that no hunter ninja come here to use you against me or the people of Wave, I need you to keep my presence here from getting out. You must tell no one I am here, or else the entire place will be buzzing with noise that will no doubt reach Kohona. The last thing I need is for NBU Black Ops to come here and lay waste to everything and everyone here just to get to me, said Naruto, who got a nod of understanding. No sweat, kid. In fact, I'm sure you saw the new addition to the house, right? Well, after your last visit with those other losers on your team, we realized there may come a time when we would call in the service of other ninjas, so we had the new part added just for this sort of emergency. It's all yours if you want it. You could always take the couch, but, said Tazuna, only to be hit in the head with a frying pan. Again, but I would hit you in the head just for making such a suggestion, said Tsunami, who moments later could help, but laughed, followed by Inari, Tazuna, and then finally Naruto, who let out gentle laugh that they found different from his loud one. Thank you again, all of you. Should I get the chance, I'll pay you back. I promise, said Naruto, bowing to them before going upstairs to rest for a little while and draw up plans for the new hunter ninja-like mask he wanted to make. Kohona really messed with him when living there. Bunch of ingrates trying to do that to a kid who has done nothing wrong to them in the first place, said Tazuna when he was sure the boy was out of hearing range. I still can't believe Kakashi would try to kill his own student. If such a grudge existed, then why not simply put Naruto on a team that he could work well at? Like the Yui Kurenai woman I've heard about, who helps out all of her students' problems, said a thoughtful-looking Tsunami. To keep the kid down is my guess. Think about it. With the Uchiha kid getting all the attention, the pink-haired one was doing jack squat, and Naruto put as the middle guy or buffer zone of the group, if you will. They did this to make up for the pink one's lack of strength and the Uchiha brat's arrogance to get into conflict. Whoever created that team must have been damn convincing to the third Hokage, seeing as how he or she wanted Naruto dead, plain and simple, said Tazuna, taking a drink of the alcoholic liquid in the bottle. The family trio didn't know that Naruto was still lurking in the shadows, hearing the little conversation he had with his daughter and grandson. I see you are glad that the conversation you had with them was not a show just to please you out of fear of me, said Zenjutsu in Naruto's head, who nodded as he felt that this couldn't be his home away from home unless he was absolutely sure of it. I trust them, it's just that I need to make sure that they trust me, said Naruto, reaching the room, which he saw was really big compared to the room he stayed in the last time he was in the house. The size of the addition on the outside did not do the place justice when compared to the inside of it all. Understood. Have you decided to enter your mindscape and talk to the hilt of your soon-to-be sword? Said Zenjutsu, now appearing in front of Naruto before spinning around to face his vessel. Not today. After all that has happened this week, it doesn't feel right, and I think the hilt knows this as well since it's gone quiet at the moment, said Naruto, holding the hilt of the once fearsome blade of Mamachi Zabuza in his right hand, staring at it, wondering if he even deserved to wield it at all. It senses things as you do. Tomorrow you will speak to your sword right after you get the plans for a fake hunter ninja mask put into production, said Zenjutsu, walking over to the nearby window and staring out into the water. I understand, Zenjutsu-sama, but where will I find a person to make the mask for me? Said Naruto, putting the hilt away before walking over to the demon fox. Ask Tsunami or Inari tomorrow about it. Since the place's economy boomed, I'm sure you will find a smith or two that will make them for you. So long as you are discreet and have the necessary finances to do so, said Zenjutsu, revealing a bag of money he had secretly stolen from the super pervert at the Valley of the End. The fact the pervert doesn't even know his money is gone is a miracle in itself, thought Zenjutsu, who couldn't help but smirk at the ironic twist he played on the man. Jiraiya spent all of Naruto's money when finding Tsunade, so they were going to spend all of his to find a smith with a forge attached to it. Jiraiya let out a powerful sneeze at the local bar to drink himself away from the hell he was in, with the council constantly breathing down his neck. However, as it stood, he just so happened to aim his sneeze at the fearsome Mitarashi Anko, who for one didn't like being sneezed on or her drank, and two, when the man opened his eyes he got a rare free glimpse into her Twin Peaks Upper Valley cleavage. So Mitarashi Anko did what she always does when someone tries to get something out of her for free, take it out on their hides. The toad hermit Jiraiya would be kept in the hospital for 2 weeks for snake bites, along with several more poison-filled bites to his lower regions. It was then, when he had to pay the medical bill and several lawsuits from several of the nurses for sexual harassment, that he realized his wallet had long been emptied out. I'll make good use of it, said Naruto, taking the bag of money that once belonged to the super pervert and tucked it away at the moment since he wasn't going out at the moment. You better. You don't have that Gamma wallet of yours to give you any further financial backing, and I can't simply make money out of thin air. Besides, after we are done here with the preparations for what we need, you will begin your training and travel where we can while getting stronger at the same time as you go. You may have to hire yourself off as an S-class missing ninja to get money for future expenditures, said Zenjutsu, seeing as how they would have to be constantly on the move since the great power that would be running through Naruto combined with his newly named sword would not and could not be fully contained. Thanks again, Zenjutsu-sama. I think I'll sleep now, said Naruto, falling onto the large bed, and after putting his sword hilt on the nearby nightstand shortly fell asleep with the almighty presence of Zenjutsu sitting in a chair next to the bed, patting the boy's hair like a father would a child. Naruto ... You truly are an amazing kid. Do you even know why there was small lake of water on the ground in your mindscape? It's because when you are sad it rains in your head, signifying your unhappiness. When you're angry it thunders with lightning. When you have a rare happy day it's a clear blue sky above where the ceiling should be. Know this, Naruto, I will give you all the power you could ever want, just don't make it rain in that place anymore. I hate the rain and always have when I was lonely in that cage. I tried to reach out to you once during the Chunin exams, but Orochimaru hit you with that 5 elemental seal to prevent such a thing from happening. The process knocked me unconscious for a time and disrupted our chances of communicating until the seal was released. When I first met you, I thought you were worthless like all the human flesh rats out there in the world. But now, after I see all that you've been through, when I see you, Naruto, I see the son that I always wanted, said Zenjutsu before turning his head to the now quiet sword. But if he tuned his senses a little bit more, he would have heard laughter and the talk of the demon getting emotional or something like that. When the time comes, and it will, Naruto will get every one of his dreams fulfilled. On this day I swear it will come true, thought Zenjutsu before retreating back into his cell for his own amount of rest. Sound Village. What do you mean the mission failed? Said Orochimaru, looking at Kabuto, who had to use all of his willpower to not shake like a frightened rabbit. In front of a snake, frightened rabbits get eaten. Our men at the meeting spot reported in saying that all of the Sound 4 were killed and the Uchiha was defeated by his former teammate. Uzumaki, Naruto, said Kabuto, as he kept his head down as he kneeled before his master, not trusting himself to look up. Kabuto may be able to heal near fatal wounds, but he couldn't regenerate a severed head. Uzumaki, the Kyuubi brat. How? My cursed seal on Sasuke should have more than enough strength to take down the Kyuubi's chakra no matter how much power the kid uses, said Orochimaru, clearly upset that his chance at achieving his prize had been taken away. The Kyuubi's chakra, I have no doubt, Orochimaru-sama, but what about the demon fox and the boy's chakra combined? The boy already had an immense reserve of chakra even without the fox being inside of him that had dwarfed Sasuke's by far, said Kabuto, trying to give his master a part of an equation in the fight that they had overlooked. True, it is possible that during the fight the vessel and the fox acted as one, giving them more than enough power to defeat Sasuke-kun. Where is the fox vessel now? Said the snake Sannin, calming himself ever so slightly, trying to gauge what his next move would be. According to our spies within and out of Konoha, the boy's own sensei Hade Kakashi tried to kill him mere moments after the fight was over. He left the boy for dead after he buried him in a rock slide to die. That tower of chakra we saw and sensed coming from the Valley of the End was the after effect of Naruto using more of the demon fox's power, and for the moment has gotten all of Konoha all caught up in fear of being attacked, said Kabuto, further informing his master what else had happened during the week with his spies from the other villages besides Konoha. Really, I imagine Konoha will be not as illustrious when they host the Chunin exams again in few years because of all the blows Naruto involuntarily delivered to them, said Orochimaru, smirking his smirk that would have made Kabuto shiver even more had he looked up to see it. As of now, Naruto is in hiding, but I imagine Akatsuki is looking for him as we speak to extract the Kyuubi from him. Now that he has no one to protect him, they will see him as an open target and will not miss this chance to bring him to that place, said Kabuto, who thought he heard the Sannin shiver at the thought of that structure being around him, but it could have been his imagination. I hate that thing. Still, we cannot get involved in the Akatsuki's affairs in regards to the boy no matter what. If anything, the boy may prove useful in weakening the organization to launch our own attack on them down the road. For now, we have other pressing matters to attend to in our own village in rebuilding our forces from the failed invasion and in finding potential replacements of the Sound 4, said Orochimaru, since the village was still new and needed to refill his ranks with strong shinobi. I'll start looking at potential candidates right away, Orochimaru-sama, but what about the possible retrieval of Uchiha Sasuke? Said Kabuto as he proceeded to rise to his feet. Leave him alone for now, since I don't need his body for a while. If anything, the leaf will spoil the child silly with jutsus and techniques to keep him happy. When the time is right, we will flaunt our power to make him come to our side, and then after I teach him everything I know, I'll take his body, giving me exactly what I need to be the ultimate shinobi that not even Uchiha Itachi will be able to defeat. So I take it we will have to wait until the next Chunin exams then, said Kabuto, since it was the only time that was perfect when they could actually strike. Yes, still, in case such an event that the mission to retrieve the Uchiha fails, I want you to find me another body to enter as a backup plan. The last thing I need is for my minions to fail me again, and I don't have a body to enter when this one fails me, said Orochimaru, since that would have been the case had he not found one suitable for him at the moment. As I said, I will begin right away at looking at possible candidates, Orochimaru-sama, said Kabuto, walking away from his master to do his job set out by his master to do. Wave Country. Next day, Naruto awoke fully focused on what he wanted to do for this day as he got up from his bed, stretching his limbs out until he heard a popping sound in all the necessary places. Time to shower, get something to eat, and then get to work, thought Naruto before setting out to do his necessary things for the day. As the boy took his shower, Zenjutsu waited just behind the closed door, deep in thought about the enemies that the boy would need to kill and who to kill first. Naruto could go after the Sound Village first, but they are not on good terms with this Akatsuki organization that is after me and my kind. If I have Naruto go after the Akatsuki, it will cause problems with Sound and Leaf, who will fear Naruto's power and possibly form some kind of alliance to get rid of Naruto. Assuming, of course, that the Council in its infinite wisdom decides to take away all of the Hokage's power for their own personal gains and needs. Maybe rather than go right for his enemies, Naruto should make some new allies he can count on in the future should he need them, thought Zenjutsu, as he already had allies, but some more couldn't hurt. Especially if they were allies who could be helpful in a fight. Naruto exited the room wearing towel around his waist with soaking wet hair that at an angle made Zenjutsu think of the fourth Hokage. Thanks for waiting outside, it would seem kind of weird if you were in there with me, said Naruto, seeing Zenjutsu give him a brief nod to his vessel. I was thinking after we are done in Wave Country we head to water and to the Hidden Mist Village to help fix the instability that is still there, said Zenjutsu, knowing that a swordsman could find refuge in such a place that loved to use them. Naruto nodded as he summoned his clothing to his body that resembled the demon fox that was now his sensei. I should probably face as many of them as possible and make a name for myself so people will hire me later on. Once I get a reputation as a badass hero in Mist, other elemental countries and hidden villages will want to hire or have me join them. I need this to happen within a span of 3 years, Zenjutsu-sama, said Naruto before taking a second towel he had with him and dried his hair with it. Why 3 years? Said Zenjutsu, slightly curious as to why Naruto would set such a short deadline to do such a thing. Because in those 3 years the Chunin exams will start again in Konoha and I want to be there when everyone else that matter is present for the event. I want them to see just what I have become in their absence and what a powerful force I have become in the world, said Naruto, looking at Zenjutsu with a face of pure seriousness, meaning it was 3 years or no time at all, while picking up his sword hilt. 3 years it is then. Now go downstairs and get something to eat while I wait outside on the roof. We have a very busy schedule ahead of us and you need to know your sword's name, said Zenjutsu, who got a brief nod from Naruto before the boy headed down the flight of stairs. After Naruto came down he was greeted by the family he had come to call his own, and he told them that he would be gone for most of the day along with several more for sword training. At first, they were a little depressed, but when they were informed of Akatsuki and how they wanted to capture him for Zenjutsu's power, they understood that when you are a 12-year-old boy being hunted by notorious S-class missing ninja, you had to get strong, fast. After eating a good breakfast, Naruto thanked Tsunami before heading out to find the necessary shop he was looking for, with Zenjutsu right behind him. Fortunately for Naruto, it was starting to rain, so that meant he could alter his trench coat to have hood-like when he entered Wave via the bridge. Zenjutsu strangely enough didn't follow suit, though Naruto suspected it was a fox thing since they were more attuned to nature than man was. After about walking around the market for 30 minutes, the two had finally found what they were looking for from the intense smell of metal and ash from inside the shop that generated it. Greetings, potential customer, how may I help you this day? Said the smith, hearing the bell on top of the bell ring as Naruto and Zenjutsu entered. I'm looking for an expert smith. I assume from the smoke and the smell of ash on your body you are one, said Naruto, wanting to get to the heart of the matter. Yes sir, I run this place and also a master of the forge. Anything you want me to make, from weapons to masks, and I can make it. Just ask anyone in Wave Country, said the man, who moved some of the ash from his face and hair, revealing he was indeed older than Naruto, and Zenjutsu presumed due to the noticeable lines of gray hair. I need a mask made. Not just any simple mask, but one made from the material hunter ninjas wear when they have to hunt for missing ninja, said Naruto, getting the man's undivided yet curious attention. You want me to make you a hunter ninja type mask? That's a first for me, but given the proper time it can be done in a few days, if not a week tops. Any specific marking on it to strike fear in the hearts of your enemies while we're on the subject, said the smith, who despite knowing the shorter of the two was a child couldn't help feel the seriousness that came flowing out of the two. Actually yes, it needs to look like a skull of sorts, said Zenjutsu, deciding to put in his 2 cents into the matter since he wanted Naruto to be recognized by this mask when he became famous, or rather, infamous if you will. A skull, said the man, raising an eyebrow at the request. Yes, though not a skull-like shape you find of a human skull. This mask needs to be of a demon fox-like skull, and it has to be realistic from teeth to ears and with red-shaped whisker marks on the sides along the cheek line. The 2 eye holes will be more circular, as if there were once eyes in the mask, and it must have the illusion, said Naruto, sensing where Zenjutsu was going with the idea for the type of mask he wanted. I see. Well, before I can get started I need to measure your face so I can make it, so if you could kindly remove your hood I can get started as soon as possible, said the man, taking out some measuring tape while Naruto removed his hood. Naruto did so, revealing himself to the man. Only surprisingly, the man didn't react, though, considering all the business that was flowing to Wave Country since he had been here last. It occurred to Naruto that it was a distinct possibility that the man was not native to Wave Country like he originally suspected. Okay, I have your measurements written down, and what name should I hold this under for you when it's finished? Said the shop owner, looking at the two expectantly. Zenjutsu. Put it under Zenjutsu please, said Naruto, looking up at the fox, who nodded since no one knew the fox's true name, so no one would suspect it was Naruto that had made the order for such a thing. Okay, I got that written down. Just come back in 3 days to see if it's done, and if it isn't I'll give you an estimation on how much longer you need to wait, said the man, shaking the both Naruto and Zenjutsu's hands for doing business with him. We'll be in touch, said Zenjutsu, walking with Naruto out the door in what looked very mysterious, making the owner slightly giddy inside. He almost wanted to tell his buddies at the bar later that night. So the Kyuubi brat's on his own now, huh? Said Kasama, who stood next to Itachi and the other 9 members of Akatsuki. It would appear so, Kasame. He was apparently betrayed by his sensei Hadate Kakashi and is no longer under the protection anyone connected to the Leaf. According to our spies within the Leaf, he was not as dead as his former sensei thought, commanded the Kyuubi's power with near mastery of it. He apparently killed an entire squad of ANBU and was able to knock away the Toad Hermit Jiraiya with a wave of its power, said the leader of the group, getting shocked attention from everyone. It seems Naruto has finally decided to embrace his hatred, thought Itachi, knowing that the boy, no matter how hard he tried to be nice, couldn't hold back the hatred he felt in his heart forever. What are you thinking in that head of yours, Itachi? I smell your brain burning, said a slightly being humorous Kasama, only to be silenced by a hard elbow to the ribs by his partner. Itachi, Kasame, you two will find Naruto as you were supposed to and bring him before the rest of us so we can hold him until it's time to extract the Kyuubi's power from him, said the leader, getting a nod the said people, who then disappeared into the shadows. What if the boy has more power than was originally thought? What if he kills Itachi and Kasama? There aren't many ninja that are at their level of power, said Sasori, knowing that trying to replace any member of Akatsuki was difficult depending on the previous member's strength in the organization. Don't worry, Sasori, they will succeed. If they don't ... then they will die, said the leader, making the others shiver as losing was not tolerated in Akatsuki. Are you ready? Said Zenjutsu, looking at his vessel as the boy stood standing about 10 feet away holding the hilt of the sword in his hand. Yes, Zenjutsu-sama, said Naruto, knowing this couldn't be put off any longer. They had left the market district with ease and headed to an area not far from Tezuna's house, so should the Naruto ever become exhausted or unconscious due to this happening, Zenjutsu could get him to the residential area to recover in moments. Then go, said Zenjutsu, watching his vessel close his eyes to head to his mindscape to find the spirit of this sword to speak its true name. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto had changed the decorum within his mind within the week he traveled to Wave Country after Zenjutsu said it was too depressing. Naruto didn't disagree with the demon fox and changed it so it would a large plain covered in grass with round like hill where a table and 2 chairs seated on opposite sides of the other. Now should Naruto decide to enter his mind to have a conversation, whether simple or complex, with his demon sensei, they could do it in a dignified fashion with a cup of herbal tea on the side. Right now though, it looked like the place was a battlefield with body after bloody body scattered all over the place, with some of the dead not even looking human. It was then that Zenjutsu told him about this when they were away from the public eyes and ears. Normally when you enter your mindscape, everything is as you left it unless something emotional happens or you voluntarily decide to change it. However, when it comes to knowing your sword's true name, things are different, as you have to share your mindscape with the sword to connect with the spirit inside, said Zenjutsu, explaining how things in the mindscape would be. So basically it's like having 2 minds sharing the same body, like it is with you and me, only you will be outside for this, so leaving us alone for me to handle this by myself, said Naruto, getting a nod from Zenjutsu, who was more than pleased that the boy caught on. Correct. In this moment the two of you share your mindscape as if he were I, but unlike before you will see that it is altered to match the persona of the sword itself, since you are technically the guest entering the mind to speak to him, not the host. Depending on the spirit's nature you will find the place as peaceful as the heavens or as cruel as the blackest part of the 9th circle of hell, said Zenjutsu warningly at the end, knowing that each spirit within the hilt of a sword when in the hands of its wielder were all different. Knowing my luck, it will be the latter of the two. Still, if I get the latter of the two, what most people would call hell, I'm going to call home, said Naruto, smiling while having every intention of taming the sword. After all, when you have nothing to lose you have no reason ... to hold back. Naruto looked at the grisly carnage before him, slightly sickened by it, but considering how he was treated, raised, and the people he had fought in the past, it was something he could undoubtedly stomach for the moment. If he could stand the eyes and presence of Zenjutsu when he called him a bastard fox, he could handle this place all the same. Well, look who's dropped into my neck of the mindscape, said a deep voice that, though not as booming like Zenjutsu's was when in fox form, it was nonetheless just as deadly sounding, if not more. Naruto turned to the sound of the voice and walked towards the source of it, walking right past bodies, the blades, and the blood that stained this battlefield. I assume you are the spirit that resides in this hilt of a sword, said Naruto, though a very stupid question since he already knew the answer to it. Yeah, I guess you could say that, though for future reference don't call me that or else I'll gut you as if you were fish, said the deep voice that Naruto followed throughout carnage of this hell. After what seemed like forever, Naruto stopped and felt something was clearly off. No matter how far he walked, he wasn't getting any closer to reaching the entity that resided in this place. If I can't come to you ... will you come to me, said Naruto, looking around the place for any signs of movement other than the pools of expanding blood. Why should I do that? Give me one goddamned reason, good reason why I should even come face to meet you, much less tell you what my name is, said the voice with the tone sounding slightly like it was a test of some sort. I guess the one and only reason is because I need to get stronger, said Naruto calmly as he studied the place more to explain his answer. What did you say? Said the deep voice, and Naruto could tell he had hit some spot that could help or hurt him depending on his response. I said I need to get stronger. You are a lot like me, so I think you and I can relate more than you think. These bodies and this battlefield represent you and your nature in regards to your personality as sword. This place tells me that you like to fight because you want to get stronger and you need someone who also needs to get stronger to help you do it. You called to me because out of everyone in the entire world I am the only person who can possibly wield you to your fullest potential in fighting the strongest of opponents. Whether you decide to accept that answer enough to come out here to meet me and tell me your name is up to you. As of right now, I don't give a damn what you think of my answer. That is my reason and I'm sticking to it, said Naruto. Waited as the silence of the place stayed for several more minutes than he thought it would. Must have struck a chord, thought Naruto, wondering what the spirit in the shadows was thinking at the moment in regards to his response. It was then Naruto heard the voice chuckle before it turned to laughter that made Naruto shiver, finding that Zangetsu in fox form and this spirit sounded so much alike. So you figured it out, huh? Not bad, kid. You are as observant as I thought you would be when I made this place as bloody as possible, said the dark voice, which now became a tall and big shadow in front of Naruto before revealing himself and how he looked. Naruto's eyes widened at the figure in front of him as he wore a large blood red and black coat, black baggy pants, had a black eye patch on his right eye, a thin scar going down his left eye, and hair pointed back in every direction with bells on the tallest points on his hair. Did he mention the guy was huge, well-built, and had a sword in his right hand that was jagged on one side, but flat on another? This guy looks like he could pass for that Ibiki guy's father, or at the very least the big badass uncle of that family, thought Naruto, who saw the giant figure before him give a wicked smile that made Kasame from Akatsuki jealous. It was the type of smile that could make even the crazy purple-haired Anko woman shiver in fear, and to make her shiver in fear was saying a lot. Now that I've seen your face and what you look like, I'm hoping that you would give me the distinct hone in telling me ... what your name is, said Naruto, looking the man dead in his eye without fear, knowing this warrior could destroy him in his mindscape at any moment in time. The name that I go by is important to me, so never forget when you need my help or my power in your time of need, when you are lost in the total depths of darkness. My name is the Fearsome Zaraki Kenpachi, said Kenpachi, smirking at the boy that nodded before him, clearly believing this name truly did fit such a warrior. Truly a fearsome name indeed. I will never forget it and will speak it with pride. Thank you for telling me your name, Zaraki Kenpachi, said Naruto, bowing his head in respect to the warrior before him, who put his left hand on the kid's shoulder before they both started to glow yellow. Kid, I think you and I are going to get along just fine, said Kenpachi, letting out a small laugh before giving Naruto all the power he could handle before the blonde-haired child blacked out. The power that exploded out from Naruto was intense, to say the least. His yellow chakra shot out of his body, twisting like a corkscrew into the air for all to see. Along with this immense tower of yellow chakra came the appearance of a skull's head laughing in a psychotic manner that would put Shukaku to shame. However, this moment in time that this strange new power revealed itself only lasted for a couple minutes, with the extent of this mysterious phenomenon soon dying as quickly as it appeared. The difference was that instead of leaving with a bang, it left in a whimper of not silence. When Zangetsu removed his hand from his eyes to see the aftermath with a shocked look on his face after seeing power coming out of Naruto. The boy's new power had changed how he was dressed as well, since he was no longer dressed as Zangetsu was. Zangetsu's vessel was now dressed in a large red and black coat with his hair all spiky in the back with bells of all things on the tallest tips of his hair. The sword in his hands had a jagged edge on one side with a flat edge on the other, making anyone who saw it think twice in a fight with such a blade. Zangetsu also noticed that Naruto, despite being unconscious, even had an iron grip on it, as if it were all that kept him alive. Literally, it seems Naruto has taken yet another step towards greatness, but as remarkable as this moment was, he cannot stay here for long. That power was felt as far as away as Kohona, if not deep into the heart of Iwa, and if they knew who this boy was the descendant of, they would jump at the chance to kill him, thought Zangetsu as he picked up the now noticeably heavier Naruto onto his shoulders, noticing a sheath for his sword laying not far from him. Picking that up as well, Zangetsu teleported away from the area to Tezuna's house, to the room the family had given his vessel. At the moment, Sabaku no Gaara was doing what every cage, whether here or in Iwa, do, that they hate with a passion, but cannot kill ... evil piles of paper. What the boy needed was a distraction of some kind that would allow him, if only for a moment, leave this pile of papers. Kankuro caught peeping again, Temari having PMS, or even would-be ninja assassins sent to kill him to make a name for themselves. Anything. Never let it be said that Kami never once granted Gaara any of the wishes he ever wished in life. Did you feel that, my vessel? Said the words of Shukaku, who normally through force of will and the incomplete seal that was powered by it kept the psycho demon at bay. How are you getting your thoughts out of my skull? Get out, thought Gaara, dropping his writing utensil and sat still like a statue, focusing more of his will into the seal. No, stop, you stupid mortal. I'm not talking to you into killing everyone ... for now. I was wondering if you felt that surge of incredible power just now, said Shukaku, who was fortunate that Gaara stopped forcing him out so they could speak more. I felt it, but it's not related to you in any way, so why should it concern me? Thought a slightly curious Gaara before getting up from his desk and walked over to the window to ponder his inner demon's words. That and to get out of doing paperwork. It's not related to me in that you are correct, but someone close to you. The one person in all the elemental named lands that has the strength to give us our first defeat just not too long ago. You know of the mortal I speak of, said Shukaku, making Gaara's eyes widen at the realization. Naruto created that power. But it wasn't the Kyuubi's chakra at all, or his own chakra for that matter. Did Naruto find another form of strength to call his own? Thought Gaara, as he raised his head slightly, looking to the rim of his vision that could see the sand that was in his line of sight. It is possible, my forever insomnia-scarred host. Kami seems to favor this boy, and we both know what happens when you go against those with Kami on their side, said Shukaku, knowing the last time he protested against Kami he got his ass handed to him by the all-knowing entity. I do not side with Naruto simply because of that reason, Shukaku. I side with Uzumaki Naruto because of what he believes in and what he will do to those who would try to take such things away from him. What he did to us in that forest area is proof of that, thought Gaara, who winced at remembering that very painful headbutt he received dead center in his forehead by the blonde juggernaut. What better way to have your head put on straight than have someone bash it straight for you? Good, at least I have a vessel of principles. Don't get me wrong, boy, I will always be a psychotic demon at heart, but as one of the demon lords I have to, as much as it pains me, to have ethics. Otherwise I'm no better than your filthy species, said Shukaku with great deal of pride in his voice, making Gaara let out a small sweat drop concerning the sand raccoon's personality. Nice to know, I guess. Now stop talking to me and don't even think of trying to possess my body, thought Gaara, forcing the mental voice of his demon away from the realm of mental speaking. You're no fun. When I get out I'm gonna, yelled Shukaku, only to be silenced before he could be finished by Gaara's willpower. Temari came in soon after, looking at her brother as he had his form at the window, as if he had sensed what she did. Did you sense it? Did it come from Naruto-kun? Said a curious and hopeful Temari. It's a distinct possibility, Temari. Shukaku spoke to me in my head only mere moments ago about it, and for once he sounded sane, though it could have been a passing moment. And did I hear you call him Naruto-kun, Temari? Said Gaara, looking at the blushing girl, who looked like she had her hand caught in the cookie jar. Well, he is S strong, Gaara, and H he is kind H-hearted to T those H he considers H as precious people, said Temari, hoping Gaara would approve of her potential boyfriend if she pursued it. Such qualities are good for someone like Naruto. He would not mistreat you or hurt you in any way. Should Naruto come by soon at any point you can ask him out on a date, said Gaara, getting joyous squeal from Temari, who after realizing what she did blushed with embarrassment before skipping her way out of his office. With that said and done, Gaara went back to his desk to continue facing what he had been doing several hours ago in the morning. A mountain's worth of paperwork. Maybe I should have let Shukaku out, or at least continued talking to him, thought Gaara before shaking his head and set out to do the task at hand. Sound Village. What the hell was that? Said Orochimaru, sensing a powerful spike of chakra come out of nowhere. It came from the land of waves, Orochimaru-sama, said Kabuto, looking at a map that showed all the elemental nations and pointed to Wave Country. Wave Country, you say? Didn't the Kyuubi brat have a mission in that poor flea-infested place? Said Orochimaru, having heard something about how Kakashi and his squad met the Demon of the Mist on the way to Wave Country. Yes, apparently because of Squad 7, or according to the people of Wave, Naruto helped make the people believe again and helped take down that sleazy businessman Gato and his hired thugs, said Kabuto, having read the file himself, which gave him some of the original data for the Chunin exams. And now, shortly after the brat escapes the murderous grips of Konoha, there is a spike of immense chakra in Wave. Perhaps the Kyuubi vessel is not as hopeless as I had originally thought he was, said Orochimaru, smiling as ideas began popping into his head. Orochimaru-sama, said Kabuto, looking at his master curiously. If we can capture the boy, maybe we can understand the demon fox's chakra, and maybe if I can have enough time to experiment, I might learn the secret of immortality from the fox via the boy himself. Kabuto, gather a squad of our most lethal ANBU and send them to Wave Country to find the child. I want him brought back alive. The subject is no good to me if he's somehow damaged in a way that could affect the overall outcome of my experiments, said Orochimaru before glaring at the boy as if to question his judgment. I will, and to make sure the operation is completed with perfect precision, I will lead the ANBU team myself, Orochimaru-sama, said Kabuto before bowing to his master before he turned around and left. Don't fail me again, Kabuto. The last time you did, I nearly killed you, said Orochimaru to the darkness, though no one was even in the room. The once busy streets of Konoha that once held great wealth was now starting to show its age without the youth-giving life of trade and a super-fat budget the size of an expansive Akamichi. And just within a week, why, during this time of the month, traders from all places came to buy or sell things that were part of their region. The fact that almost every single place around Konoha had cut them off during one of the busiest trading months had hurt more than the people of Leaf had originally anticipated. With the drastically reduced budget and missions going to other villages, money was going to be tight even for the Hyuga clan, who had decided to be more watchful of their finances as to not go into sudden poverty. The majority of the place was filled with the seemingly depressed, who all wondered why the Uchiha was still unconscious in the hospital. The doctors had been optimistic, saying the boy would come out of it anytime soon, so it just required a little more time. If only it were that easy, but that's beside the point, as there were other problems, mainly within the ninja ranks. As it stood, most of the Rookie 9 and Guy's team now knew why Naruto was hated so much by others due to the majority of the council revoking the Third S-class law on the matter. When Rock Lee learned, he was devastated that one such as Naruto was not only shunned by the people he protected, but betrayed by his own sensei. It made no sense to the mini-guy look-alike that someone that was supposed to be seen as a hero should be hated by them. It was unyouthfulness at its darkest, as his sensei and idol Mato guy had told him when the boy had awakened from his exhaustion. Shoji was in total shock, and when his family visited him in the hospital asked why he was never told about Naruto having the demon inside of him. When asked by his father if he would have hated or shunned Naruto because of the Kyuubi, Shoji couldn't give a solid answer, thus proving the older man's point on why the third made the law when he did. Still, such knowledge now in his possession, Shoji knew that being hated at such a level just for something that was not your fault, but were somehow connected to was not right. Shikamaru had been on the same page as Shoji when it came to his father, though when he was told had responded that he already knew. Shino, who felt despite the reason for law no matter how logical at the time it was, felt this information was crucial to the overall aspects of their developing life. The bug user that was the heir to his clan felt that Naruto was similar to him since no one would get near him out of fear of his bugs, thus resulting in isolation most of his life outside of his home. Naruto never had a family to confide in when he was alone, and it ate Shino up inside that the boy he once thought was loser had carried a burden that should never have been placed on Naruto in the first place. As it stood, Shino personally had nothing against Naruto despite the Kyuubi inside of his stomach, and had even spotted the boy once working on a garden in secret. What amazed Shino was not that the boy had apparently kept such a secret from everyone, but that with care simply removed the different types of bugs off his plants and did not squish them afterwards. That in itself to Shino was a sign of a person who was not a demon, but who respected nature and the bugs that made up the world at large, instead of just simply crushing them beneath his feet or spraying the plants with that horrible gas known only as the tabooed word to all of Buran to speak of. Insecticide. Tenten had always known deep down that Naruto was different, even though she barely knew the kid since the academy days when she was a year ahead of him. She would see him try so hard in molding chakra that she could actually see the large amount he put into it, which in several cases caused a mini explosion of sorts with a failed jutsu attempt. She had explained what had happened to her father, who just let out a small chuckle saying that the boy has a lot of chakra in body that because of his size is hard to control, and that while he won't be able to do a jutsu that requires a small amount of chakra, the boy could possibly do a jutsu that would drain even some jounin and still have enough energy to run a person ragged after performing a prank. But that wasn't the part of Tenten that knew he was different, as it was something else during the time at one point on Naruto birthdays on October 10th, as their shop would get a lot of customers around then. It was that day and time that she realized such a feeling about the blonde-haired boy. She soon remembered when she was 8 that her father let her mind the store for a brief moment while he checked the back for some kunai he had been working on. Sometime later, a group of shinobi came in and asked her, since they knew her father, if she knew of some weapons. Since everyone in the way of the shinobi in Konoha knew about her father, she thought it wasn't too strange to ask if she knew about such things. However, what struck Tenten as strange was that they wanted weapons that were slightly rusted and would need to be thrown away soon after, if not immediately upon using them for other activities, with the word other being expressed a little too friendly for her taste. When she asked them to be clearer on the other that was mentioned, they said they were going to go demon hunting, which at the time Tenten thought was a new festival game they added on to make people happy that the Kyuubi was dead. With that, Tenten had given them some swords that were going to be taken into the back and melted down to be remade into new swords. The men paid for each weapon and told her it was just for her since she had been so kind to give them the weapons. It was later on when Tenten told her father about it, and the serious look on his face before he went to talk to the third Hokage, that she knew something was wrong and it was somehow partly her fault. Fortunately, whatever she had unintentionally caused had not been fully set in motion, as her father came back later at night with a calm yet still serious look on his face before he asked her certain questions that puzzled her slightly, but asked as honestly as she could. In the end, her father gave her a smile, a kiss on the head, and told her to go to bed, as if all was right with the world, though Tenten still couldn't help but feel something was off about her father's reaction. Now that she knew the truth, she understood why her father had been so serious. Those shinobi she sold the rusty weapons to were going to use them on Naruto that night. I can't even look at a sword of that design clean or rusted without feeling ashamed of myself for giving those guys weapons. At least from the look on my father's face when he came in, that he and the Sandaime stopped it, if not the worst of Naruto's torture from happening, thought Tenten, finding herself by Neji's bedside as he slept to regain his lost strength. She would have visited Lee, but knowing him, he would have been loud enough to wake a coma patient as soon as she entered the room. Unfortunately, just as the news of Naruto's demon being told had positive effects in the more open-minded circles, it had negative effects elsewhere. Ino was glad that Naruto was gone despite her father's disappointment in her being so arrogant, which he blamed on his wife, who supported her daughter in the matter. Inoichi shook his head at the two, saying this was why he wanted a guy as the male Yamanaka were not so arrogant as to not see the difference between a hero, a demon, and a damned traitor of an Uchiha. Sakura was of course no different from her mother in hating Naruto, as she was so caught up with wanting to be married to Sasuke to help revive his clan that she simply continued doing what she had been doing all along. All the while the girl smirked over the fact that she got in all those hits on Naruto, the demon spawn of Konoha, making her mother exceedingly proud. Inuzuka Kiba found himself following in the footsteps of his mother, as well as her hatred for the boy like Kiba passed on to him when Tsume revealed that it was Kyuubi who was the one that killed Kiba's father that was her husband. Kiba, of course, being as arrogant as his mother, found a new reason to hate Naruto, as the boy had his Hinata's attention all the time and had beaten him at the preliminaries, which in his mind shamed his clan. The next time I see you again, demon, I'm going to rip out your heart and place it in a jar as a trophy for all to see, so they know I and Yuzuka Kiba am the best. And after I'm done ending your miserable life, I'll make Hinata-chan mine, and she will only bear my pups while you rot in hell, thought Kiba, flexing his claw-like hands while he sat alone in his hospital bed, grinning with anticipation of a rematch. Only this time ... it would be to the death. It was the same everywhere in the Hidden Leaf Village, with a slight few disgusted by the majority's actions while the majority continued to hate the boy. Of course, the thoughts on those people within Konoha who hated the boy soon felt a tremendous power that snapped them out of their thoughts of driving the demon out of the village. It was then that such joyous thoughts of the demon no longer in the village vanished, and fear of what monster that came from off into the horizon. How truly ironic it was. It's clear from this spike of incredible power the demon vessel is growing stronger at a considerable rate, said Danzo, sensing the general area the power was coming from and pinpointed the location before cross-referencing the area with Naruto. Yes, Danzo-sama, if you wish I will lead a team of NBU route to Wave Country to kill the monster now that we know his position, said Sai, bowing his head to his teacher. No, if we do that it will incite further conflict with the other shinobi nations and rally our older, more spiteful enemies into a mad war frenzy as well. Konoha is the strongest of all the shinobi nation despite its current conditions, but even our might is no match for so many foes at once. We need to get the abomination killed on our side of the territorial field to avoid a political incident that would cause reason for the demon's many friends to fight for him as if he were a martyr. We will send out our hunter ninjas as our fellow council members had originally ordered. The only difference is we will send more of them to Wave Country, but nothing else unless he is within Konoha's domain. However, as a precaution, let our spy network outside of Konoha keep their eyes out for him so we can monitor his movements. By doing this, we can anticipate his next move before the demon can execute him, said Danzo, looking at the latest news from his spies elsewhere. What about the fifth Hokage, Danzo-sama? If she learns of this, she will declare marital law and destroy parts of the council that will oppose her, said Sai, knowing that to mess with that woman was not the smartest thing to do. Should that woman do something like she will be taken out before she can even give the order for it once started. When that happens, I will make myself the new Hokage, have Sasuke as my protege, and make Konoha the military power I have envisioned it would be, with Sasuke to carry on my work when I am long dead, said Danzo, smiling, though it hurt considering the old battle scars on the upper part of his face that were wrapped in bandages. Yes, Danzo-sama, said Sai before leaving to train until he was yet again called for by his master and leader of Root. At the same time, another ANBU Root member came in from the shadows and kneeled before the man. Have certain aspects of Uzumaki Naruto been leaked to Iwa? Said Danzo, looking at his Root member with his one good eye. Yes, Danzo-sama. As you anticipated, the Iwa are getting worked up into a frenzy and are sending their very best hunter ninja and ANBU after the demon. Now that they know who his parents were, the ninja from Iwa are looking for some revenge against the one who helped end the war, said the Root ANBU, who got a nod from Danzo with a small smirk on his face as a sign he was pleased with his soldier before dismissing him. Naruto woke up with a headache the size of Gamabunta as he slowly got up from his bed with his stomach screaming at him to eat something soon or there would be hell to pay. Man, I feel like Senjutsu-sama beat the crap out of me, said Naruto, cracking his neck until he heard the pressure releasing pop and crack sounds in the joints. You should be so fortunate that it feels like it and that it didn't actually happen. If it had, you wouldn't simply have mild discomfort and a sizable headache, said Senjutsu, as he appeared seemingly out of nowhere yet again to face the boy, who now sat up on the side of the bed. How long was I out? Said Naruto, noticing his newly acquired sword in a black sheath with a blood-red fox head on the side. 3 whole days. Your stomach had been growling mad at not being fed anything except water to prevent dehydration. I had to use my chakra on your body to compensate its loss of food and nutrients in the body and to slow down your digestive system to prevent you from pissing yourself as you were unconscious, said Zenjutsu, slightly annoyed at his vessel's stomach for growling so loud for food. And Akamichi's stomach had more tolerance than Naruto's did when it came to hunger. Do Inari, Tazuna, and Tsunami know I'm up here? Said Naruto, getting off the bed before walking over to the mirror to inspect his new look. Of course, when I carried you back they asked who I was and what I was doing carrying you on my shoulder. It took a bit of explaining on my end, but they understood what had happened and why you were unconscious. They all felt or saw the power you unleashed from awakening the power of your sword when you spoke his name, so you can imagine how worried they were about you. However, yet such an eruption of power will no doubt turn several eyes of the shinobi world towards Wave Country. They will send ninja their teams here to investigate the disturbance, with some hoping it will lead to finding you, said Zenjutsu, knowing that Naruto would know what groups he was speaking of. No doubt they are on their way, or are nearly here depending on who's looking. We will have to greet them appropriately, right Zenjutsu-sama, said Naruto, smiling a new smile with fox-like fangs and sharp teeth that made Kasama's look flat in comparison. Right, go to the bathroom, take a shower and head downstairs to eat. We have to see if your mask is ready at the blacksmith's or not, said Zenjutsu, seeing Naruto run a hand over his now longer unwashed hair. Oh, it's ready all right. I can feel it, said Naruto, heading into the bathroom to get clean while Zangetsu walked downstairs to inform the trio below that Naruto was awake. For Zangetsu, it felt good, if not for once, not to hide from others around him, and was a wholehearted if not wonderful thing to experience. The sound of waves from the ocean can make even the most violent of beasts become calm given the time and right moment, thought Zangetsu offhand before he wondered if he was getting soft after several thousand years of being alive. The grave of Zabuza and Haku. Must we come here just so you can pay your respects, Kasame? Said Itachi in annoyance at the traditions that were part of the village hidden in mist that still lingered in his shark-faced partner. The two members of the Akatsuki had arrived in Wave Country only moments ago, and Kasame had insisted that they go to Zabuza's grave to pay their, or rather Kasame pay his respects to the fallen member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist. When the two arrived at the grave using Itachi's sharing and to follow the faint mixture of a chakra trail that was left behind by who they suspected belonged to their prey, Uzumaki Naruto. When the two had reached the graves, Kasame could instantly tell that Zabuza's grave had been tampered with just a few days ago. Upon further inspection, Kasame immediately noticed that only the blade from Zabuza's sword was left, not the hilt of it. At first, the shark-faced member of Akatsuki remembered the story of how sword hilts sometimes hit more than on master. Remembering this, Kasame decided to pay his respects to Zabuza first, before setting out to find the Kyuubi vessel and then kill whoever took the hilt off the demon of the mist's blade. Kasame only hoped the two were related. When the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist was founded and we all trained together to be the best in mist, we each made an oath stained in our blood to visit the grave of the one who most resembled us the most. Zabuza was my counterpart before you were Itachi, as he was a lot like me before he died. He loved combat and the smell from the blood that would stain his sword when he sliced someone apart in a silenced manner. Even his teeth were like mine, and he knew how to use kunai a way that no other could think of should one's own arms be useless in a fight, said Kasame, having heard the story of how Gato had been killed by Zabuza, as had Itachi. Barbaric, but effective nonetheless, I suppose, said Itachi, earning him a growl from his blue-skinned companion. A fight is a fight, not some honorable duel you have in a dojo, so don't tell me that being savage in a fight to the death is barbaric, or the manner in which it was done. You of all people should know that since you wiped out your entire clan. Well, almost all of them, said Kasame, smiling, turning to his partner, who stayed as calm as ever. That foolish brother of mine is not an Uchiha. The fact that the power given to him by Orochimaru was not enough to defeat Uzumaki Naruto when summoning the Kyuubi's chakra proves just how weak Sasuke truly is. My so-called brother may have the eyes of the Uchiha, but not the heart of one, said Itachi, walking away from the graves while Kasame looked at the man puzzlingly before running to catch up. Naruto walked down the stairs of the home of the people he was proud to call family, as he did his precious ones, who were surprised to see his new appearance. Goddamn kid, when you get a growth spurt you certainly grow, said Tezuna, looking at the kid, who was now nearly up to the old drunk's shoulders. And that was if you didn't count his hair. Naruto's hair was now blonde with red streaks around the sum of the base of some of it, only now his hair overall was spikier than usual. Another weird thing was that Naruto's hair has bells of all things sticking out of the tallest of spikes of his hair, making a little noise as turned his head even if T was a small movement. Naruto's recent transformation is because of the powerful spirit that lives within his very sword he now wields. Though the two of them will be independent from the other, Naruto will learn more as time goes on from that spirit and from me during our travels through the various elemental lands, said Zangetsu, knowing his words at the end would depress the family that took them in, but he knew it couldn't be helped. So did Tezuna, Inari, and Tsunami. Stay for a little while longer, please, Naruto Nai-san, said Inari, hoping the boy he looked up to as a brother would not leave so soon after such a seemingly short visit. I will be around for a little while longer today, Inari, don't worry. I have to go and pick up something from one of the shops, but once I do I'll come back to say goodbye ... For now anyway, said Naruto, cracking a small smile at Inari before ruffling the smaller boy's hair. Promise, said Inari, knowing that Naruto would follow through with a promise no matter what. Promise, said Naruto before walking out of the house and waving back to the family. So how do you like it? I made sure it was done with the finest care and precision you could ask of any craftsman of my art, said the shop owner, watching the boy gaze at the mask with a piercing gaze as if to look for a fall that was not there. The craftsmanship is indeed impressive, Sano-san. You should be proud of yourself for making a work of pure art for us. How much does that come to? Said Naruto after he had finished looking over every single spot of detail and giving it his approval. No charge. I know who you are, kid. Anyone who's anyone in Wave knows your name and your face just enough to know you are the hero that plaque mentioned, said Sano, who smiled at the boy's slightly shocked face, thinking his new appearance would keep others from recognizing him. Then again, this type of thing was what the mask was for. I see. You will keep my presence here a secret then, said Naruto, though it was more of a statement than question. When I first arrived here at the beginning entrance to this country where the bridge was connected, I read the plaque word for word and kept it repeating over in my head. When I asked around about you, all I got was wonderful news about what you did to help these people and to help the bridge builder's grandson snap out of his depressing funk, said Sano, again surprising Naruto. How did you know about that? Said Naruto curiously, as not too many people knew about that little discussion if you want to call it with him and Inari. One day I visited that old drunk and he told me how you had a pretty miserable life that made this look like paradise to you. Since even though people were down and nearly out they had each other even though that was all they had. You on the other hand had no one from what I've been told, and it is high time you get your due, kid. I also have a feeling that this mask will help you on your journey. Just remember when you are famous, kid, to brush some of it my way and tell people how you got this mask from me, said a slightly laughing Sano, who shook the kid's and Zangetsu's hands before they left. Later that day at home, Sano would walk in to find a small pouch of money from the much larger one Naruto had with a note on it from the kid himself. I may need your services for masks in the future, so don't think you're off the hook just yet, Sano-san. Pleasure doing business with you, Naruto. Sano merely let out a small hearty laugh, finding it was the only thing he could do. My little Naruto-kun must have found something worth Orochimaru-sama's interest if I can sense that strange chakra's residue from here, thought Kabuto. As he could sense a great deal of it remained around Wave Country, though it was now noticeably thin, so it made following it more difficult than he expected. Still, just because it was difficult didn't mean the boy wasn't impossible to find. Soon he felt Naruto's chakra signature not far from them and signaled the sound ANBU behind him to run across the bridge to find the rogue Kohona ninja to take back to the Snake Sanin. Not too far away from them, Kohona's own hunter ninjas were also heading into Wave Country, only instead of capture they were sent to kill the said fox boy. The gathering of so many ninja to one spot along with the battle that would shortly follow would be the talk of Wave Country for years to come. Naruto continued to look at the mask and wonder what his friends back home would think if they saw him now. Knowing Sakura, she didn't care, and at worst she knew about his tenant, meaning she was a demon hater like most of the Leaf Village. Ina would most likely follow since she was infatuated with Sasuke, plus she has a tendency to be shallow in terms of perceptions of others. If Kiba was anything like his mother, then Naruto knew he was screwed out of a friendly rival with the brash Inuzuka, seeing as the apples in that particular family never fell far from the tree. Though the mutt's older sister Hana showed promise in seeing things clearer than the rest of her clan. However, that wasn't his main concern at the moment. What concerned him was how the news of Zangetsu being inside of him would affect Hinata's perceptions of him. He may appear dumb, but he knew when someone liked another more than a friend and had done so with Sakura on several occasions, even if they were fake. All the same, Naruto knew that Hinata's feelings for him before he left for his mission to retrieve Sasuke were not by any means fake. Would the news of the demon inside of him poison her mind into her thinking he was the actual demon? A monster? Would he forever be alone, never to settle down and have children of his own, who he could tell his story to so they would know how great his struggles in life were? Some things were better left alone. Zangetsu looked at his student, Vessel, sensing the thoughts and emotions whirling around in his complex head of his. There were things about his past connection with Kohona that needed to be solved, and solved soon, or else he could never break the invisible chains that bound him to the weight of a guilty conscience. Naruto, it's time, said Zangetsu, snapping the boy out of his thoughts to look at him. Yes, Zangetsu-sama ... it is time, said Naruto with very little emotion in his voice, as he put the mask on his head, feeling the inner part of it connect with the side of his face. How does it feel? Said Zangetsu, liking Naruto's new look more and more, giving the boy a more demonic appearance. In just one word, perfect, said Naruto, as he added chakra into the mask so he could see through it clearly. Good. As you grow and use my chakra, the mask will expand to match the dynamics of your face to fit as time goes by. Also, I've decided to give you a summoning contract for demon foxes to help us on our journey, since using the toads would alert that peeping toad hermit. Show me your sheath kit, said Zangetsu, getting a nod from Naruto, in understanding, and removed the said item from his waist. It wasn't that he didn't trust Orosenin, but he couldn't say he trusted him either. One backstabbing sensei is enough for now, and even if I could trust the old pervert if he were interrogated by the council, any information he finds out could be used against me, thought Naruto before holding out in front of him for Demon Fox. Zangetsu channeled chakra into his hand and placed his fingertips on the sheath where the symbol of the fox head was, making it glow blood red for several seconds. Now you have officially signed a contract with me and my kin, and it will only work for you since this is your sheath that only works with your sword. Anyone else will have their limbs blown off in trying to use or tamper with it should they learn where it came from, said Zangetsu before turning his attention to the right of him, sensing the approach of several groups of people heading their way. I sense we have company. What better way to help get a reputation than to kill people from the places I hate, said Naruto, though it was more of a statement than question, as he put his sheath away and now held his now normal-looking sword in his hand, while Zangetsu retreated back to the seal, not wanting their secret of him being active outside of it known to their enemies. In no time, Naruto found himself nearly surrounded by sound ANBU, with Kohona's hunter ninjas waiting in the shadows, not realizing that Itachi and Kasame were doing the same. Naruto did, though. It's been a while, Naruto. You never call, you never write, and you never come to visit me in Sound Village, said Kabuto, looking confidently at his prey. Why should I visit you or the snake queer you call a master? Unlike you, I don't have the unhealthy fetishes for long snake-like tongues wrapping around me at night, said Naruto behind his mask, clearly seeing some surprised movements and what seemed to be silent snickering at Kabuto's expense. Such inferior insults will not goad me into fighting you on your terms, Naruto, though I must admit your new appearance is much better on the eyes than it was with that jumpsuit you used to wear. What color was it again? Orange, said Kabuto, smirking, hoping to get Naruto angry and attack him instead. Considering how much people hated me, I was lucky to get anything at all. People would constantly overcharge me for stuff and I couldn't afford it. My home of an apartment no doubt would make one of your prison cells or experimentation rooms seem likable. You were never nearly starved or beaten to death, and at the hospitals they even tried to poison my food on at least 3 different occasions. You think by bringing your sound ANBU here that you have the advantage. No, it's the opposite, and if you think it's bad now, just wait until I send you and your squad members back to sound in one big bloody bag to your all-great child molesting pervert of a snake that is Orochi team, said Naruto, his mask's eyes glowing a dim red as he spoke. Big talk from just a small kid who failed the Genin exam 3 times and only passed on the whim of a Chunin, who took pity on you, said Kabuto, though in his mind his warning senses told him that this kid was much more trouble than he thought. And his senses were never wrong. Considering how many people tried to stop me at every turn, I'll take anything I can get in terms of advancement of victory. Kasama, Itachi, and you piece of monkey shit excuses for Konoha Hunter ninjas, get out here now, said Naruto, getting shocked expressions and movements from all 3 groups. Not bad, kid, you sensed us even though we were hiding all our power, said Kasama as he revealed his shark-like teeth in a smile. It wasn't hard. You're big, blue, and you look like a mutated dolphin. Plus, with you around, Itachi is not far behind, said Naruto, getting a snarl from the shark man, while Itachi, despite the seriousness of the situation, smirked, knowing all the things Naruto just said were true. Mutated dolphin, huh? Maybe you'll think differently when I shave your legs off, said Kasama, drawing out some hotter ready to do some damage to Naruto. Remember, Kasame Akatsuki wants Naruto alive. If you do manage to wound, and don't make it lethal, or else Leader Sama will make us pay dearly, said Itachi, while eyeing the hunter ninjas and the sound ANBU carefully. We can't let you take him back to Akatsuki, Itachi-san. We are under orders to kill the demon boy on sight. Stand aside or we will deal with you as well, said the hunter ninja captain, hoping that the group's overall strength would make the Uchiha think twice. Sorry to disappoint you fools, but Orochimaru-sama needs him for conducting further experiments on, and I can't risk failure in his capture, said Kabuto, who snapped as 2 of his fingers together make his squad getting into fight stances. Itachi activated his Sharingan, and the hunter ninjas from Konoha got ready for a fight with dead silence for the briefest of moments, only to be shattered by an insane laughter. An insane laugh coming from Naruto that turned everyone's attention back to him. Well, isn't this great? So many people want me alive or dead, yet none of you can agree on which one should get first dibs. So seeing how all of you are so eager to die, I will, in the spirit of cooperation, kill each and every one of you, said Naruto, his mask's eyes glowing red as if they were alive, and he readied himself in a lax sword stance, holding the weapon with just his right hand. Either this kid has finally lost it and has become suicidal, or he actually does have the power to defeat us. Though personally I think it's the former, said Kasama, smirking at the kid's show of guts, no matter how figuratively well played it was acted out. However, when one deals with Kasama, such guts are shown more in a literal sense, with the former Mist Ninja showing people their guts by shoving Hinata in through the stomach. Careful, Kasama, I have watched this boy outrun ANBU when he was barely 6 years old, and underestimating him could spell doom even for you, said Itachi, noticing the shift in the air as storm clouds came overhead above them all. The growling animal noise coming from the demon didn't help either. Please, if ANBU from the leaf couldn't catch a mere 6-year-old child, then that place must have really been weakened during the fight with the Kyuubi, said Kasama as he charged Naruto now, despite Itachi telling him to stop his charge that fell on deaf ears. And soon to be dead ones too. As Kasama swung his mighty and spiky-looking sword, the other 2 groups along with Itachi watched as Naruto leaped quickly over the wide swing, since ducking it would have ruined his hair. Surprising, Kasama gave Naruto an opening and he slashed down on the shark-faced man, causing the member of Akatsuki to scream in pain. Still think I'm weak? You have less finesse than you have brains, said Naruto, smirking at the surprised Kasama, who looked at the boy with fear, not because he had struck him, even though that was a reason, but it was because he never saw Naruto move at such high speed before. Neither had Itachi or anyone else in the other 2 groups for that matter. He's gotten stronger. My Sharingan could see his movement, though it was difficult, and it looked like he was projecting an after image as he did. That's never happened before. Had I not heard the tiny bells on his head, I wouldn't have seen it happen, thought a now impressed Itachi, wondering what could have increased Naruto's speed to such a level. How? Said Kasama in pain, feeling as if the wound slightly went diagonally down his right side of his back. Simple. You really suck at countering an attack while expecting your size, your large-ass sword, and the swinging of your said sword to destroy your enemies in one shot. Care to try again? Said Naruto, smiling his new set of teeth at Kasama, who turned green with envy at the sight of the teeth before turning back to blue again. This is an unexpected first even for me. Not many people other than Orochimaru and a select few other can go up against one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, much less Kasame of all people, thought Kabuto, seeing this new more dangerous Uzumaki Naruto seemingly mock and toy with the man from Akatsuki as if he were a plaything. Damn you, brat. When I get a hold of you, there won't be enough of you left to stuff into a matchbox, said Kasama, swinging his sword at Naruto in more complex forms related to the art of swordplay. Naruto dodged almost every single one. Almost. The last strike Kasama utilized involved a wide arc of a hit that if connected would in all likelihood destroy the upper half of his opponent. Itachi, however, was not thoroughly convinced that Kasama would win when the blow made contact with its target. When the blow did connect with Naruto, the boy Itachi and Kabuto noticed had plenty of time to dodge, yet just stood there to take the head-on attack. The only thing the boy did to show he was trying to defend himself was raising his left arm to absorb most if not all of the blow the massive Zanbato would inflict on him. There was a loud crunch sound when the sword hit its target and both had moved with the impact if only just a few inches. Kasama smiled at the sound his sword made, thinking he got the brat good with his trusty Samhata, even though the shark man couldn't tell if the boy's face behind the mask was filled with pain. Though the Akatsuki member imagined it was ... if only slightly. "Is that it?" said Naruto, his voice revealing no pain in his words, but of someone who was clearly unimpressed by the attack. "What the hell?" said Kasama, finding himself afraid of someone other than Leader Sama and Itachi when he was pissed off. "If this is all you got, Kasama, then your reputation among the 7 swordsmen of the mist has been clearly exaggerated," said Naruto, pushing the sword's blade away from him with the arm it came in contact with before slowly digging his grip into the sword with his left hand and releasing a huge amount of killing intent that froze everyone in their place no matter how much they wanted to move at the moment. How was he doing that? Thought everyone around Naruto, as they were now clearly scared of this demon vessel and his newfound strength that seemingly gave him S-class rank strength. "I don't like a sword that eats my chakra and pigs out on it shortly after getting a taste of what it considers a good meal. Your sword is like big dumb dog, or in this case shark, that can't stop eating until the food is taken away, and frankly it sickened me. Do you even know the inner workings of your sword, Kasama? Zenjutsu does, and he knows for a fact a surefire way ... to destroy it," said Naruto, pouring more chakra into the sword, but at the same time twisting it and turning it to his very whim. "What or why you doing?" said Kasama, trying to pry his Samhata from Naruto, only he found that Naruto's grip was absolutely stronger than his. "Did you know the main reason your sword can eat so much chakra is because it has its own small network of tunnels to take that chakra and circulate it around? Samhata does this to let it thin out and dissolve into the sword itself. However, just because this sword absorbs, or as you once put it, Kasama eats chakra, it does not mean the chakra cannot be manipulated by the very source it came from," said Naruto, smiling at Kasama as he felt his chakra, that was being eaten by Samhata, swirling around inside the sword into a little compressed balls of power. "What do you mean?" said Itachi, finding this information may have its usefulness later should he be able to report back to Leader Sama. And that was if Leader Sama didn't kill him and Kasama, should he even survive this, for their failure in capturing Naruto when they had the chance. "What that means, Uchiha team, is that even as we speak I'm manipulating my chakra into tiny little racing balls inside Samhata, and when I choose to I will let them explode all at once," said Naruto, giving Kasama a psychotic grin that turned the blue-skinned man pasty white that nearly made him look human. "That would annihilate everyone here, and due to the Kyubai's demonic healing powers, Naruto can survive such an attack without batting an eyelash," thought Itachi, taking small steps back that didn't go unnoticed by everyone around him. "Smart as ever I see, Itachi. Tell you what, since you are the smart one of all 3 groups, I'm going to let you live and head back to the leader of your organization. Tell him that within the 3 years that you would plan on hunting me, I'm going to be using to hunt the rest of you, Orochimaru, and any other poor son of bitch from any other hidden village or elemental country that decides they want to come after me in order to get a piece of Uzumaki." "Naruto, Kenpachi," said Naruto demonically at the end, though he did not know why he added the name of his sword to his, but he would have to worry about that later as his left hand started glowing blue, red, and yellow at the same time. Meanwhile, Samhata started making noises as if it were a large girder being stranded by some unforeseen pressure attacking it. "Yes, stop it," said Kasama pleadingly, not wanting to die yet as he had so many things to do and people to kill. Not to mention he still had to see the new Jaws 5 movie that came out 2 weeks ago, where the plot from what he understood of it was his brethren actually winning against the human race. "Stop, you say? Why, only a weakling begs for mercy, only weaklings ask to be spared death, and only weakling like you die." "Mini racing and bombs jutsu," said Naruto, releasing an insane laugh along with his attack on the poor shark man that was the once infamous Kasama, who in all his fright had simply forgotten to let go of the sword to escape the explosion that soon followed of Samhata. Kabuto, having finally gotten a chance to move, ran as fast as he could seconds before the explosion hit, though as slow as he was a mid-chunin ranked ninja could possibly see him. "I must survive this to inform Orochimaru-sama of this new development," thought Kabuto, as the explosion happened, sending chakra-covered pieces of Samhata as well as thick waves of chakra everywhere, hitting all parties around Naruto. The sound and BU that were behind Kabuto didn't move fast enough, were completely annihilated, with their bodies turning into bloody smears on the ground and nearby trees. Kabuto himself survived thanks to his own ways of healing and retreated back to Sound Village. Itachi moved at a slightly reduced speed due to the killer intent he felt, along with some form of pressure coming from Naruto's chakra. At the speed he was moving, the second to last Uchiha was hit with pieces of the destroyed sword hitting him in his right arm and his left side, barely missing 1 or 2 vital organs. "I need to escape and report back to Leader Sama and hope what information I have learned of Naruto will be of use to him," thought Itachi before teleporting out of the area to avoid making a blood trail that would make the boy follow. The Kohona Hunter ninjas were torn and sliced apart, killing all except, amazingly as it was, though it would depend on your point of view, a single ninja. His right arm was lost forever, his face burned unrecognizably from the impact, and his guts were hanging out of his waistline, showing anyone that saw it, provided they didn't puke first, how the human body can digest food. The ninja flat out wished he was dead, and in a few minutes afterwards that followed ... his wish was granted. As for Kasama, like his sword Hinata, he was not complete, and had been, for the lack of a better word, obliterated. The blast itself had only hit Kasama marginally at best, since he was the closet to Naruto than the others. However, even such an attack had left only a majority of him being a mangled blood smear, leaving a slightly cut up head as proof the shark man was no more. Naruto put away his sword and walked over to Kasama's head, picking it up and studying it for a moment with disgust. And here I thought, with all you guys around me, I would have to call out the true form of my sword after I called his name. At least I now have a reason to enter Mist, though, said Naruto, smiling at the head, knowing that this would not only get him into the Mist Village, but allow him to make a name for himself, and possibly get him potential jobs in the future. Don't get overconfident, kid, you are still a growing boy. Next time the dangers will be greater, as your enemies will come out more in force when word gets out about what you did here, said Zangetsu, appearing next to Naruto, and put a demonic preserve seal on Kasama's skull to avoid any further decay. Still, this will be interesting nonetheless. Kabuto will report to Orochimaru in sound, Itachi will report back to the Akatsuki, and as for Kohona, well, let's just say that Tsunade-chan is about to give the council a very interesting package, said Naruto, turning to the remains of the Hunter ninjas in all their bloody glory. That's my boy, thought Zangetsu, with the spirit of Kenpachi smiling at his owner's way of thinking and inspiring fear into his enemies. More blood for us to spill, thought Kenpachi, licking his lips inside Naruto's mindscape, imagining all of the fights they as a whole would get into. Demon summoning art, demon fox summoning jutsu, said Naruto, biting his thumb and smearing it on the fox head on his sheath, making it glow as he did one-handed seals before planting his free hand, open-palmed, down on the ground. When the smoke cleared from the jutsu, a three-tailed black fox, the size of a large dog, had appeared, ready to follow the orders of the one who summoned him. What is you wish of me, my master? Said the summons, bowing its head in respect. I need you, my fox summons, to transport something to Kohona for me that is of great importance, that needs to reach its destination, said Naruto, getting a nod from the fox, while Zangetsu went up to the remains of the Kohona Hunter ninjas and created a large box to stuff them all in. What is it that needs transport? Said the black fox, though it had a good idea what it was, since the boss summons of his species was stuffing the box with bloody remains from corpses. 3 things actually, with each something going in a separate destination. The first of such items is this headband that needs to reach my old sensei Yumino Uruka, said Naruto, taking out his leaf headband and with a clawed finger put a line horizontally across the leaf symbol before tying it loosely around its neck. What of the other 2? Said the black fox, as Naruto pulled out an envelope and put a letter inside that smelled to the fox like ramen. This letter needs to be given to someone that is precious to me and that I cherish above all others in my life. This letter must only go to Hyuga Hinata of the Hyuga clan and must never be seen by any other person in Kohona, or else bad things might happen to her that I would never want to happen, said Naruto, getting extremely serious when he was looking at the fox, who knew that this one was the major priority of this assignment, before taking the letter into its mouth, carefully making sure not to damage it. This will be your 3rd package, though I would suggest delivering this last so you don't have the people in Kohona after you right away, said Zangetsu, bringing the box over to the 2 with blood staining the top and side of the large wooden container before placing it on the fox's back, while the said fox held it with its 3 tails. It had a sign on it, to the people of Kohona, better luck next time, assholes, from Uzumaki Naruto. However, what would get everyone's attention was that below the message was a picture of a smiling Naruto face, giving whoever looked at it 2 middle fingers. Truly an insult to injury. The black demon fox nodded to Zangetsu and Naruto before disappearing in a puff of smoke, setting out to do its required task. Now that is taken care of, let's head to Mist and collect the bounty on fish head here, said Naruto, who put the head in a bag Zangetsu made appear in front out of his charka flowing cloak. Don't forget you still have to say goodbye to Tazuna and the others before you go, said Zangetsu, not wanting the boy to forget his promise to the family. Right, my bad, said Naruto, grinning sheepishly at the demon fox before heading back to Tazuna's house to say farewell to his family. Wave Country docks 30 minutes later. Naruto had said a heartfelt goodbye to the Tazuna and had promised once more to visit when he had a chance and when he wasn't on the run so much. Inari was crying, of course, at the loss of seeing the country's hero leaving again, and nearly had to be pried away from Naruto after giving him a vice-gripped hug by Tsunami. Tsunami herself wished Naruto off for a safe journey to Mist and to be careful, as she had heard from someone that Mist and the country of water were facing severely troubled times. Tazuna gave the boy a pat on the shoulder and secretly gave Naruto a bottle of his more expensive stuff he hid from his daughter, telling Naruto he'd never know when he would need a stress-removing drink. Clearly a voice of experience. Naruto took it without question and bid the group farewell, telling them that they could now tell the rest of the people in town he was here, since it would soon hit all the other places around them. Getting on the ship heading for Mist, he waved goodbye to Tazuna, Inari, and Tsunami until they could no longer be seen by him. Next time I see them again I'm going to be so much stronger even I won't find it the least bit funny. Naruto to Zenjutsu, who appeared next to him with his usual serious expression plaster on his face. True, but I sense you will go far Naruto in your dream to be the best, and when you do return to Konoha to be the next Hokage you will definitely surpass all the others before you, said Zenjutsu looking out into the water admiring the serene beauty it possessed before turning to Naruto and giving him an eye patch. What's this Zenjutsu-sama? Said Naruto examining the eye patch seeing it has several small eyes and mouths on it. It's something I found on in your coat pocket while you were out like a light after your confrontation with your sword spirit. From what I can determine it was designed to eat large quantities of chakra from the user as long as the person wears it. Kid spirit, the lives within your sword have one as well, said Zenjutsu seeing the eye patch yearning just to grab onto Naruto's right eye. Might as well wear it now. It will be some time before we get to the land of water, and since there is no threat to me on board the ship by the time we land I should feel properly adjusted to it, said Naruto putting the eye patch on his right eye as the wrappings acted like tentacles and latched on tightly. It took a great deal of willpower to not scream when he felt like the eye patch was eating as like an Akimichi eats food at a buffet table. When we get to land of water and to mist we'll use our current funding, plus what you get for Kasama's head to buy some heavy weights to further increase your strength in the long run. By the time you leave that country not only will it be better because of you, but you yourself will be several times stronger than you are now, said Zenjutsu seeing his vessel wobble slightly trying to get used to the drainage and the pain that was coming from his right eye. Don't worry kid, the pain will go away in a few days. In the meantime I'm going to help you in terms of using chakra pressure, which involves generating your killer intent with your chakra creating a heavy pressure environment. You did it back there with that group of weaklings, but it was on pure luck and instinct on my part that allowed you to trigger it, said Kenpachi, who in Naruto Mindscape was looking forward to being called out for a good old-fashioned sword fight. Are you sure this information our agents received is correct? Said the Tsuchikage, as he looked over the information given to him by the ANBU in his presence. Yes sir, as you know the Leaf Village has been severely weakened by what they did to the boy and his sensei betraying him. The pictures of him compared to the Yellow Flash is an undeniable proof the boy is his father since no one else in Leaf has such identifiable characteristics, said the ANBU, who knew that this was an opportunity to strike at the spirit of their most hated enemy. Yes, the evidence is unmistakable. The fools don't even realize just who they betrayed and at this point won't even care since they hate the demon sealed inside of him. We will act on this, but with a more delicate approach if what those two power surges we felt were any indication, said the Tsuchikage rubbing his chin in thought. What do you have in mind Tsuchikage-sama? Said the ANBU wondering what plan his Earth Shadow had planned. Rather than killing the boy why not send him an invitation to join us when we decide to invade Konoha at a much later date. It's clear that if those fools don't know about the child's heritage then neither does the boy himself. Have our ANBU and spies throughout the other lands look for him, but when they confront him they are to offer him the chance to join our ranks, said the Tsuchikage smiling a sinister smile at the shocked ANBU. Join us, but sir he is the son of the Yellow Flash, said the ANBU in protest, as he had seen so many of his fellow comrades die during the war with Leaf. All the more reason to have him join our side. What Namikaze Minato did to us his son will do to them when we go back to war with Leaf, said the Tsuchikage with his smile growing even more. Irony and karma were truly in this year. Uchiha Sasuke was a boy with many faults as well as potential talent if he understood some things about life and got his head out of his ass. The report on his injuries was not life-threatening, but all the same could not be overlooked. The total wounds were several broken ribs, a concussion, some amount of blood loss from cuts and scrapes, and his right hand had been covered in special restoration bandages as it had been nearly destroyed when he shot his Chidori into Naruto's Rasengan. Outside of his room were two ANBU ninjas standing guard to prevent anyone getting in or out of the Uchiha's room. Though their guarding could use work since they didn't expect anyone to attack their poor prodigy, who in their arrogant minds had been traumatized by the demon boy that put him in that condition. Now as Sasuke sat, unconscious in the hospital bed of his room, now covered with get-well cards and flowers to show the people's support of him, the Uchiha began to stir. His heart monitor was beeping faster as his mind was struggling for him to awaken into the land of the living with his arms and legs twitching slightly as he did. The images of the battle he had with Naruto played out in his head with the look Naruto had when he shoved his Rasengan into the Chidori. The face of the demonic-looking Naruto with a look of pure malice on his face sent chills down Sasuke's spine, and the desire that his best friend seemed to have in wanting him dead made his blood freeze cold. Why am I so weak that I can't shake this fear out of my mind? I have to get the power that Naruto has so I can kill Itachi. I need to be stronger than everyone around me so there is no one better and people will praise only me, not that dead last loser, for my accomplishments, thought Sasuke, as anger appeared on his barely unconscious face. The beeping from the Sasuke's heart monitor got the attention of the ANBU outside and went in to investigate only to see a struggling Uchiha awaken from his slumber. Uchiha-san, said the ANBU with a cat mask on, surprised at the boy's strength. When I'm out of this hospital I'm going to train harder than ever, and when I possess more power than anyone else I'm going to kill you Uzumaki Naruto. You hear me Naruto? I'm going to kill you, yelled Sasuke, his anger with his curse seal glowing slightly along his neck as his sharing and eyes activated, revealing all three comas in each eyeball. The two ANBU guards, despite being slightly scared at such a sight, couldn't help but smile at the idea of the Uchiha slaying the demon fox. Okay, sadly the chapter is over, and if you enjoyed, just leave a like and subscribe with post notification, so when the next chapter is ready, you will be notified. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye.